Good morning, Raptor freaks. Lexi out here, and it's Friday, and the Raptors are out west in Portland to play the Portland Trail. No, wait, the Raptors 905 are in Portland, but the Raptors are in Denver. Raptors are in Denver, and they're going to be playing the Nuggets tonight on a West Coast road trip. Second game of the West Coast road trip, and also the 905 are playing at the same time tonight, around 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern time, against the Rip City Remix in Portland also. So I've got two previews to do this morning, and we'll get right into it right away. And then we'll do the comments. We'll do all the other fun stuff we do here on the Raptor Freak channel every day, 9:30 a.m. live, your live one-stop shop for Raptors, Raptors 905, Toronto Tempo, CBL, Team Canada basketball. All that stuff is covered on this channel. So let's go ahead and get started with the latest lineup news. Now, ESPN matchup predictor is saying that the Nuggets have a 67% chance to win the game today. Just a little bit of what their perception is. Maybe they don't understand where we're at right now. Maybe those odds would be a little different if they understood that. First of all, we're hearing that it's very likely that Colin will not return tonight. Colin Murray-Boyles has that thumb injury, of course. He is doubtful officially for tonight's game. Chucky Hepburn is still out, and he is with the 905 in Rip City, going to sit on the bench and watch their game tonight. All the two ways are with the 905 and Drew Jones today, including Elijah Martin and AJ Lawson. So both of them will be playing for 905 tonight, just so you know. Raptors should start their regular starting lineup of the notorious Barbecue Yak. And, well, you know what we've been doing with that lately. That starting lineup has looked very powerful, has been getting a lot of minutes in games lately, and I ain't mad at that because, as Sam Mitchell's saying, as Trevor says in the comments, the Raptors may have more talent than the Pistons, and it's that starting lineup that has that talent. I'm telling you guys, we got some talent on our team. All right, let's go look at the Trailblazers. Or I keep saying that. I'm screwed up because I'm thinking Rip City, but I got to keep saying it's the Nuggets, guy. You're playing the Nuggets today. All right, Peyton Watson is out. He has a hamstring injury, and that's basically the only injury for the Nuggets right now. So we saw the Nuggets on New Year's Eve in Toronto at Scotiabank Arena, and they were missing Nikola Jokic because he had just gotten injured, and he missed a little bit of time around that time. And so we played the Nuggets without Nikola, and they still beat us. And I remember the Nuggets fans were real cocky and being stupid afterwards, coming into our chat and saying dumb things. Look, y'all are a good team. Y'all have a good culture. And sometimes even if you lose very important players, like a most valuable player in the league, you guys can weather the storm and do well in his absence because you have a good culture and a good team setting. But this time, the difference is we were missing people when y'all played us too. And, well, we're going to have people tonight, and hopefully we can beat your butt. Denver Nuggets have this lineup for their team right now. Jamal Murray at point guard, Christian Brun at shooting guard, Cameron Johnson at small forward. Aaron Gordon will be back. He took the last game off for a rest game, but he will be playing in this one, Eric Gordon. And Nikola Jokic at center. Off the bench, former Raptor Bruce Brown, Tim Hardaway Jr., the former Piston, Spencer Jones, Jonas Valanciunas, the former Raptor draft pick, Tyus Jones, Julian Strother, Zeke Naji, Jalen Pickett, KJ Simpson, and Deron Holmes. That's pretty much everybody kind of playing on the Nuggets these days. They may have other players, but they're not really in the rotation. This is an interesting stat. The Nuggets in their last 11 games are 5-6, y'all. So it's not like they're exactly tearing it up right now. They have had falters, and they faltered on Wednesday when they lost the Grizzlies. Yeah, they lost the Grizzlies the other day by 7 on Wednesday. So, yeah, as I said, in their last 11 games, they're 5-6, losing more games than they've won in their last 11 games. So they're in some ways, they're ripe for the picking if we can figure this out right. The Raptors are playing with a dedication to excellence of effort and playing the right way and playing together with communication. And, when a team's playing right and playing well and they do their thing the way they do it to their best strength, they can beat anybody. I don't care who it is. So, the realm of possibility for the Raptors to rise up and beat the Nuggets tonight in Denver is there because we beat the Pistons on Sunday. We beat the Suns last week on Friday, and we beat Oklahoma City in their own arena this season also. So why can't we go to Denver and beat the Nuggets tonight, especially when our coach is Serbian and he knows Nikola Jokic like the back of his hand. So yeah, we're gonna have to see what happens tonight. Let's go Raptors. Yeah. All right, let me go check out the other team that we're playing tonight, which is the Rip City Remix, and this will be the matchup for Drew Jones and the Raptors 905 in the G League tonight. And their team looks like this. They've got Javante Cook out of Winston-Salem, Andrew Carr out of Kentucky Wildcats, Garrett Dembo out of Anderson. Of course, Young Hansen Young is possibly going to be playing against the Raptors 905 tonight, the two-way for the Portland Trailblazers. Jason Kent of Texas, Caleb Love of Arizona. He's one of their two-ways. Jalen Martin, overtime elite. Jemiah Neal out of Creighton. Cameron Parker out of Portland State. Liam Robbins, center out of Vanderbilt. Alex Reese from Alabama. Cameron Tyson out of Seattle. Romeo Weems out of DePaul, and Chris Youngblood out of Alabama. It's not a team that seems to have a lot of, star power on it. In some ways, let me go look at them in the standings. That could help us to see whether we should be that worried about them. They are 17-15, and they have won one game in a row right now. So, yeah, their home record is 11-5. So they are not bad at home. So, yeah, Rip City Remix. They are next up for the Raptors 905, who are heading to the playoffs, y'all. They got their playoff spot. All right, let's go look at the refs for this game, for the Rip City Remix game, G League game. It will be Shalisa Painter as the crew chief, number 66. She will be in charge. Lars Murray is the referee, number 35, and Erica Parker, the umpire, number 49. All right, let's go to the big enchilada and the ref report for the Raptors at the Denver Nuggets. In the replay center in New Jersey tonight, JT Orr, Jenna Schroeder, and Zach Zarba will be monitoring the games from afar and giving declarations over the headset. But on site, our crew is interesting. It's not totally horrible, but it's still not favoring the Raptors for tonight. Let's just say that. Our crew chief tonight will be James Williams. James Williams is out of Memphis, Tennessee in his 16th season, number 60. He likes the show Snowfall. He watches the movie Shawshank Redemption. He likes the book The Soul of Money. Does money have a soul, James Williams? Seriously? His favorite meal is soul food. He likes the app Ref Masters. He'd most like to visit Africa. He'd like to become the mayor of Chicago, and his hidden talent is rapping. So he knows how to rap. The Memphis, Tennessee native graduated from Purdue University with a bachelor's degree in law and society and history. He was honored as an outstanding graduating senior by the School of Liberal Arts. Yeah, James Williams is an interesting ref. He's a ref that can do ref manipulations. He's very good at that. But also, I found that he can be okay for us at times. We are 1-1 with him this season. We lost the last game he refereed for us, and we win 49% of our games overall in all the time. That's just above our franchise winning mark. So he has been a net plus for the Raptors, but just slightly, just very, very, very slightly. The Nuggets have a much better record with him, 52% winning. So the split is 49-52 for the Nuggets with the crew chief, James Williams of Memphis, Tennessee. The second referee tonight for the Raptors is going to be Trey Maddox. Trey Maddox, number 23, out of Great Lakes, Illinois. His 15th season as a referee. His favorite TV show is Power. He likes the movie Training Day. He listens to Michael Jackson. His favorite book is Quiet Strength. He likes to eat steak and lobster. His favorite app is Fight List. He'd most like to visit Dubai, attend the Open Championship, and his hidden talent is playing the piano. So we could get James Williams to rap, and you'll play the piano, Trey Maddox? That'd be cool. We've had Trey Maddox twice this year also, and we are 1-1 with him as well. Maddox officiated 4 seasons in the NBA G League and 6 years at the collegiate level in the Pac-12, Pac-West, and West Coast conferences. He also has 8 years of high school officiating experience. Yeah, Trey Maddox is a very likable ref. He's a ref that I very much trust, and he's been a long-time ref for a while. He's pretty high up on the ref spreadsheet. We win 57% of our games when Trey Maddox is present at the game as a ref. And well, we won the last game he refed, but the Nuggets have an even higher winning percentage with him. They win 63% of their games. So 57 to 63 for the Nuggets, once again, with the second ref, Trey Maddox, who is the friendliest ref to the Raptors today. He is the friendliest ref to the Raptors today. So our record overall today with the refs is 2-2 for both those refs. The third ref is a ref we have not seen this season yet. This will be the first game this season that he refs for the Raptors. It is Musa Dagher out of Syria in his 8th season, number 28. He likes the show America's Got Talent. He likes the movie Coach Carter. His favorite musician is Drake. His favorite book is Rich Dad, Poor Dad. He likes to eat sushi. He loves YouTube. He most like to visit Thailand. He'd like to time travel to experience New Year's Eve twice. That's weird. That's his bucket list. He wants to time travel. So you mean, Musa, you want to do like New Year's Eve in New York and then fly to California and do it in Los Angeles, like on the same year? That's kind of fun. That's kind of fun. So you want to do like the Phil Collins at Live Aid, huh? Okay, I got you. This hidden talent is playing the piano also. So that's interesting. Maybe you and Trey Maddox could have dueling ivories. And then James Williams is rapping in the middle, y'all. And it's like you got like two people playing piano in different ways. That'd be cool, actually. Y'all might be a cool little 3-man band. The dueling pianos with James Williams spitting bars in the middle. You guys should try that on your off time. Seriously. Musa Dagher has officiated 298 regular season games in 7 seasons as an NBA staff official. He also worked the Rising Stars competition and All-Star Saturday night events at NBA All-Star 2025 in San Francisco. Yeah, Musa, we have not had this year yet, and he is the worst ref today. He is a really bad ref for the Raptors. Let's just put it that way. We win 43% of our games, and the Nuggets win 66% of their games with Musa. So 43 to 66 is the split for the Nuggets. So the Nuggets have the better record. The Nuggets have home court advantage. And the Nuggets have the referee's favor statistically. Does that mean the Raptors are in trouble? No. That just means the odds are against them, and they need to play as perfect as possible and kick some major butt to beat the Nuggets tonight. And I have confidence in this. I seriously do. Because there's signs coming from certain things, like Scotty Barnes posting on Instagram a drop of his fits from his travels recently and saying tunnel vision. Meaning, yeah, he has tunnel vision, the vision of him coming through the tunnel wearing the clothes, but he has tunnel vision on winning right now and what it takes to win and understanding what that is and showing up at the arenas every night he has a game and putting it all on the floor and doing what it takes to win, because that's what's in Scotty's mind these days. What do I do in NBA games to help the Raptors win NBA games? That's what he's doing in his mind these days. So there's your ref report today. I don't trust James Williams. They have a natural favor for the Nuggets, just so y'all know. And this could evolve into 8 versus 5 tonight. The probabilities for an 8 versus 5 tonight are about medium, that this could happen, just so y'all know from what I'm reading from the ref report today. Today, the Raptors will be wearing the red jerseys with the black chevron. If you want to get color coordinated for the team tonight, this is the jersey that our guys will be rocking on the court tonight. Just a little heads up on that. Yeah, if you want to do your Nav Batia and match the team like Mr. Nav does, you can do it, because we can tell you where it's going to be, what they're going to be wearing. Yeah. All right, let's get into the comments and see what you guys are saying this morning. Trevor J., the commissioner of fun for this channel, a great supporter of this channel in many ways. I appreciate you. Bless you. And I hope that you just have a fantastic weekend this weekend, Trevor. Starting off with a big win over the Nuggets tonight with the Raptors. That's right. This is his words of wisdom for today. Work for a cause, not for applause. Live life to express, not to impress. Focus on what truly matters and let your actions speak for themselves. Yeah. I mean, yeah, there's so much in this one. You've got a couple of here. Work for cause, not for applause. Yeah, don't do stuff just to get attention and be like that Mad TV character that McDonald used to do. Say, look at me, I can dance. Look at me. No, don't be like that. Just do what you do. It's like I've struggled with this with my channel. It's like should I promote my channel? Should I put it out there all over the place? I really don't. I really don't. I used to post it in Raptors groups all over the place and try and get people to come in. But it's just kind of like, you know what? People gonna find me, they're gonna find me. If they find me, that means they really like the Raptors and they've been looking for this kind of content. So if I put it out there and casual Raptors Nation finds me, they're not going to appreciate me as much because they're not diehards like we are. And I think that's part of it. So yeah, in some ways, I don't care about getting any recognition for what I'm doing here. In some ways, my goals to do what I'm doing are individual and for myself. And having like almost 2,000 streams in 5 years is accomplishment for myself to enjoy. I don't care if anybody else recognizes it. I know y'all will. So it's just kind of like I'm just doing this for the whole reason of what I do this channel for, is to talk about the Raptors every day because I love them, and to share my passion and my positive outlook for them in an ever increasing negative world that tells us that we should not be proud of being Raptors fans. And you shouldn't be proud of being a Raptors fan. They're a joke and all this stuff. These idiots that think that way. Well, we're bringing integrity and pride and honor and culture to the Raptors Nation on this channel, the Raptor Freak channel. That's what we're all about. That's right. And it's not for me to get famous. It's not for me to self-promote. This is because I want to build a movement. And if I'm forgotten, but the movement moves on past me, that's what I did. And that's what I wanted to do. That's all. That's all right there. That's it. Yeah, let's go, Trevor. Thank you. Blessings to the Jones family and all the Raptor Freak families. That's right. Figure out your motives for why you do what you do and do it for the right reasons. That's what I'm saying right there. Yeah, Trevor's saying happy game day. Let's win again tonight. Yeah, we've got a 3-game winning streak. You know what they say? We got a steak dinner because we got 3 games in a row, right? Wasn't that the old rule? It's like if you win 3 games in a row, Pascal, we're going to take you out to a fancy steak dinner. And then some idiots thought it was a pizza party. No, they took them to the nicest restaurant. They probably took them to the CN Tower and they ate up in the rotating restaurant and paid a pretty bill for when we got our dinner with Darko. Somehow that idea got hijacked to pizza party. No, it's not a pizza party. These aren't 7-year-olds. These are grown men who play in the NBA. And if they're getting rewarded with a meal, trust me, it's high class because these guys are eating very well and good food. Otherwise, if it's going to be special to celebrate 3 wins in a row 3 years ago when Darko showed up, that was not no pizza party. That was high class, highfalutin, top of the line cuisine that they were eating. Trust me. It was just our haters trying to make us look stupid and cheap like we're little kids at a clown party with a piñata or some crap like that. Yeah, what is that? That's not what we're doing. Anyway, we want to go for 4 in a row against the Nuggets tonight. Get that Nuggets 4-pack. That's right. Nuggets 4-pack. Speaking of Nuggets, let's do the straight goods on Canadian goods. A little early right now. I got some gold nuggets right here. Yeah, these are fingerling potatoes grown in Ontario. And when you go to your grocery store these days, check the labels, y'all. Seriously, they will tell you where they're from. And grocery stores are getting in trouble because they've been lying about the origin of some of the food they're selling in their store on the shelves and misrepresenting stuff as being Canadian when it isn't. Well, these are Canadian potatoes. And I would say this, check the label so that it says product of Ontario or Canada. And then you bought it from a producer from this country, because there is a lot of produce that comes into Canada from the United States. And I'm just saying, if we want to be Canada first, Canada strong, we need to start supporting our own economy and our own farmers and growers. So look for that produced in Ontario or Canada label, and let's support our people on this side of the border. And you can do that even in the produce section by the produce you buy. I don't buy any American produce in the grocery store anymore. And everything I buy is grown either here or in other countries. And there is a lot of stuff that you can't grow up here in Canada that you can grow in South America, in Mexico, and other places like that, and we import that stuff from there. Just make sure you're checking the label. And once again, I would say buy anything from anywhere other than the United States right now. So yeah, fingerling potatoes from Ontario. This is gold nuggets, baby. I try to make it a theme for what's going on with the day for the straight goods on Canadian goods lately. It's been fun. It's been fun trying to be creative. And I was like, man, this looks like gold nuggets. My fingerling Ontario potatoes. All right, Trevor's bringing this up. Magic and Miami, the Heat and the Magic both lost last night. Atlanta jumped up to the 6th spot in the standings, just below us. Yeah, we getting a little bit more breathing room from the Florida teams, and this is good. But it's starting to develop that Atlanta is coming up real quick. We are now a game and a half above the Atlanta Hawks with in the standings, and we're now 2 games above Miami. So we're a game and a half above Atlanta Hawks and Orlando because they're tied. But I guess Atlanta has the tiebreaker over Orlando. Now, we know we've already swept the Atlanta Hawks for the season. They did not beat us once. We kicked their butt every single time we played them this year. So if we are anywhere near a tie with the Hawks, we got the tiebreaker already. That's the thing. Now, the other 2 teams, the Florida teams, we have to play both those teams still this season to determine who wins the season series. But luckily, the games against Orlando and Miami for the rest of the season are all in Toronto. We have them as home games. So we'll play Orlando on the 29th of this month and to determine the season series, which is 1-1 so far this year. We won 1, they won 1. We'll have the third matchup on the 29th, Palm Sunday, in Scotiabank Arena. And then in April, there will be a 2-game set against Miami here in Toronto to determine the season series with the Heat. And these games will matter probably. So congratulations to Charlotte Hornets on Del Curry retirement jersey night, which is cool as hell. They retired 30 up in the rafters for the Hornets franchise. Del Curry, former Raptor, father of Steph Curry, getting his jersey retired by the Hornets last night. And, well, the Hornets came through and beat down the Magic on the night that they retired Del Curry's jersey. So that's awesome, man. That's just a great all-around story right there. And good job, Charlotte Hornets. And also, we'd like to thank Luka Doncic for going crazy on the Lakers against the Heat last night and kicking Miami's butt. I think he got 60 last night, guys. It was just crazy. Luka's been a little bit on a tear lately. So, yeah, thank you to those teams and beating the teams that you were facing last night. That's right. Yes, I brought this up a little bit earlier. Sam Mitchell has come out and he's saying good things about the Raptors, so this is good. He says that he thinks that the Raptors are a more talented team than the Pistons, and I think he's right. I've thought that we are one of the most talented teams in this league on the download this whole year, and I've kind of said it at times, but not really like tooted on it too much. But I've thought this on the download, especially because I knew Brandon was going to be such a needle pusher for us. And the talent level that he adds to our lineup, our starting 5 is really one of the best starting 5s in the league. This is just true. Most starting 5s have one guy who's a weak link. We really don't have that. And people can say, oh, no, it's Quickly or Pirtle. They're bullshit. That's bullshit. These guys are good starters. So I really do believe this too. Like Sam said, that the Raptors have one of the most talented starting 5s in the whole entire league. Forget about the East. In the whole league, we have one of the best starting 5s. And I'll bet you that coaches in the league that do all the scouting and preparing for games would probably tell you that. Yeah, the Raptors actually really have a really good starting lineup. And that's why I keep saying, keep those starters together and let's retool the bench in the offseason to get a better bench support for those guys because those guys work really well together. And once again, the secret of success in the old NBA in the 80s and 90s was keeping starting lineups and nucleuses together so that they could build over the years. You switch guys in and out too much, you lose some of that chemistry and synergy. And the adage, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, is really, really good for this situation. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. And it ain't broke. They are playing really well, and they play well together. That there was issues like in Atlanta with DeJounte Murray and Trae Young where it just wasn't working, then I would understand why some people would say, "Oh, we need to trade this person or trade that." But there's nothing like this going on with the Raptors. These guys fit seamlessly together. And in some ways, there was no given on that Brandon Ingram was going to just drop into our lineup with these other guys and everybody was going to get along and play so well together. So once again, the adage of if it ain't broke, don't fix it. That's definitely something for the Raptors starting lineup that Raptors Nation needs to understand. Yeah, it's tough to get such high level talent to mesh and fit like this. It's not totally easy. So when it's like this and you've got this setting, cherish it and protect it and feel like it's precious. Okay. It's precious, not precious at you, but shout out to Precious. We like Precious. That's right. That's right. Yeah, Trevor's bringing it up. Del Curry had his jersey retired last night. That's right. That's right. Reggie's saying this. Sam Mitchell trying hard to get into the good graces of Raptors Nation, I see. You know, Sam is just himself, man. In some ways, he's pissed me off over the years. I actually almost started a petition to get him kicked off as TSN about 10 years ago because he was annoying the hell out of me with how he nagged the Raptors so much. He was so negative towards us. And in some ways, I was like, man, why is this guy up here doing this? Like, seriously. And then he'd be on US media down south on NBA TV, and he would be saying bad things about us there on the state side. So very two-faced. No, listen, I think that Sam is mellowed out. I think that Sam's read the room and he gets it now. That Raptors Nation's very passionate, very strong, and very, very involved. And they, in some ways, are standing on their business now, like we do on this channel. And he may have heard this talk and it's like, man, Sam Mitchell's a hater. Why is Sam Mitchell on our show even if he hates the Raptors so much? You know, that kind of stuff. And he probably heard it and he was like, you know what? Maybe I need to go easier on the team because I feel like he's been giving them a fair shake and he has said more positive things about them in more recent years. There was a stretch of time where Sam Mitchell seemed like he was just a hater. But in some ways, look, he's a coach and he comes from the place where he used to coach this team. And he used to have to tell people like Chris Bosh and other people to get their act together. And he wanted to help. And he can be tough love helper because he's that kind of coach. He's kind of a stern, ordering kind of coach, not a very like nice, let's talk to you kind of coach like Darko in some ways. So Sam's style of instruction is abrasive. Let's just put it that way. His style of instruction can be very abrasive because that's somehow sometimes a coach's style. And well, I mean, I like that he's lightened up as the years have gone by. And I like in some ways that he's taken more ownership of his connection to the Raptors. You know, there's been times where I've wondered, is he more Timberwolves nation? Is he more Pacers nation? Who is he really? I mean, I'm sure he's all nations that he used to play for. But in some ways, sometimes guys that are formerly attached to the Raptors, they don't embrace it fully, like Chris Bosh. And I wondered about that with Sam. Sure, Sam, you're going to get that paycheck for broadcasting our team. But do you actually ride with us still? Do you actually give a shit about whether the Raptors win or not? Or are you just like getting the paychecks sitting next to Leo? You know, is that what it is? Oh, and speaking of that, happy birthday, Leo. It is Leo's birthday today, guys. Leo Routen's birthday today. So let's wish the great Latvian and Lithuanian kid from Kiel, the great legend of Raptors history, Leo Routens, man. Leo Routens is, let me see, how old is he today? He probably don't want me to say this, 66 today, 66 years old for the kid from Kiel, one of the greatest Canadian basketball players ever. Leo Routens. We love Leo. That's right. But yeah, Sam, you riding with us. If the Raptors win, you're happy. The Raptors lose, are you disappointed? That's what we care about. In some ways, I just want to know that you're actually riding with us, that you are in that Raptors nation. I mean, there's signs that you are because you were so giddy about Bam Adebayo's 83 game that now you were off the record books as that coach with the Kobe game as the second highest scoring game in league history. You know, you did kind of show affinity for your ties to the Raptors when you celebrated Bam's 83. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I like Sam because he's real. That part of him I like. But in some ways, when you have somebody who's real like that, you got to take him for who he is. And sometimes he's going to be out of pocket and he may say crazy ass shit that you probably are like, why did you fucking say that? You know what I'm saying? Because he has no filter. And in some ways, we love Sam for that. even if sometimes he's not very nice to the Raptors sometimes. In some ways, Sam Mitchell's style of covering the Raptors is the way that we covered the Raptors early on when they were a young expansion team, just floundering around, messing up left and right. Leo Routen's, the birthday boy, very much was critical of the Raptors in a very mean way in the broadcast. In fact, you wouldn't even known that the Raptors broadcast was for us the way they used to call the team in the first 5 years. It was crazy. Yeah, he would be calling the game for the other team more because the other team would be more excellent. We'd be expansion. We had Darrell Walker as our coach, and we'd be losing almost all of our games. So almost all of the broadcast call from the studio was like telling the Raptors how to be better and talking about how shitty they were and lauding the other team for how good they were. That used to be what the Raptors broadcast was in the first 5 years, just so y'all know. I remember because I've been here the whole time watching the Raptors since the start. And so there's been an evolution over time of our broadcasters being a little bit more homer, a little bit more for the team, and a little bit more respectful that our team has fans that really care about it and don't like to hear the team being talked about negatively unnecessarily. So it's been an evolution. And Sam Mitchell, in some ways, right now, is kind of still doing the old style of how Leo used to cover the team in the first 5 years, because he'll come in with critique. He'll come in with critique. Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. It is what it is. What can you do? Super fan Monique Lawrence is in the house. Always great to see the official super fan of the Toronto Raptors. Monique, how are you this morning? Good morning, Raptor Freak crew. Happy double game day. Let's get both. Yes, this is always a challenge to watch two basketball games at the same time. It's like, whoa, you're going to get your eyes split this way, watching both screens. Yeah, I'll put the Raptors game on the TV and I'll put the 905 game on the computer and I'll watch them that way tonight. And yeah, it's tough. You know, it's really, really tough to give your attention to both because there's so much going on. Usually I primarily watch the Raptors, and when there's breaks on the Raptors, I'll go and check in with the 905 and watch and see them. Now, I think officially the start times are 9 o'clock for the Denver game, the NBA game, and 9:30 for the 905 game. So this is going to be a little bit staggered by half an hour. So 9 and 9:30 are our two start times tonight. So yeah, the Raptors 905 will be done after the Raptors. So yeah, lots to do. I know Mo and I are going to be very busy. It's a double date of the night for us, a double date with the Raptors. That's right. Mo's saying Orlando Robinson dropped 44 points in the G League. He's on Memphis Hustle. I believe it's former Raptors news and notes. Yeah, this is great. I don't mind you bringing this up. I posted this in our Discord yesterday. Monique, I still wish you would come and join us in the Discord. There's a lot going on in there. And I feel like I just miss talking to you during the games easy. And in there, it's so easy. Like we're in there and we're talking and it's just not right without you in there. I'm just saying. But yeah, I posted that highlight reel of Orlando on the Discord yesterday after it happened. It was an afternoon game yesterday. I did not realize that Orlando Magic had kind of let him go. And he was now in the G League on the Memphis Hustle. So, yeah, Orlando Robinson, former Raptor from last year, had a huge game yesterday, 44 points. It's his career high at any level. And salute to him. He's still somebody I feel like is the one who got away. I don't know why we didn't covet him and hold on to him last summer, because he could have been very helpful this season as a big on our team just for depth. But alas, the man's on G League now on Memphis Hustle. And, well, I mean, is he available for a 10-day? Could there be a revisiting of Orlando Robinson? Because in G League, you can go get a guy from any team, right? And we have an open roster spot. And a 10-day contract for Orlando Robinson to come back to Toronto just to see what's going on up here for a little bit. Would that be bad? The fact that we have not filled this roster position in its March 20th of the season is crazy to me. This whole entire season, we've had one roster spot that has not filled this whole entire season. Now, in some ways, I look at it as like, well, is this just Rodgers being cheap, man? Because it costs money to have a player. You got to make the jerseys. You got to pay for their travel. And maybe Bobby's like, listen, You guys really want me to save money? This is what I'm going to do. Okay, let me hear it, Bobby. Okay, Keith, shut up. Let me talk. Okay, listen. What if I do the whole season without filling the last roster spot? That would save you guys this amount of money for this whole entire year. Oh, I love it, Bobby. We love money. We are God money followers. That's the only thing we care about is money, God money, the green of money. Oh my gosh. Oh, we're evil people for money. Okay, so will that make you happy? If I don't fill the last roster spot the whole year, you're going to save this much money. Oh, you just made me cream my pants, Bobby. Okay, Keith, you're gross. Get away from me. Is this enough talking to you? Can I go now? All right, bye. That could be what happened. Seriously. What I just a dramatic reenactment of. Yeah, that could be what happened. And literally, yeah, Ed Rogers and Keith Pelly were just creaming their pants about the money saved from not filling the last roster spot of the Raptors all season. Yeah, I can figure this shit out. The press won't say it, but the Raptor freak, a fan who's on it, will read the lines. Why are they not filling this roster spot? We could fill this roster spot all year long. We could have filled this roster spot 2 weeks ago. We could have filled this roster spot around Christmas. We could have filled this roster spot at the beginning of the season and had an extra guy this whole year. Why? Why is this? Oh, you know it's me, Raptors freak. Have a great weekend. Oh, it's so stupid. It's funny. I seriously think this is what it is at this point. It's like Bobby's probably really smart for doing this because he's probably like, we could do this. We don't need to have that extra person. And we'll go ahead and just run this way. Other teams are going to have that extra person filled in their roster, more options, another person developing. But no, we're going to run one empty chamber this whole season. And it's not a big deal. Because maybe they're saving money for a billionaire named Ed Rogers III. Oh, my gosh, Ed. Oh, my gosh. Let's keep going. Smooth saying Luka is in a custody battle for his 2 kids. Yeah, I don't like talking about this kind of stuff, man. I really don't. This is not my business. This is not TMZ. Players' personal lives, unless they really matter because they're Raptors, I don't really care about talking about them. I heard about this recently. It's sad to hear because, think about this, right? They played us, right, in Toronto, and Luka didn't come because he was getting his latest child born like this season, right? So he wasn't involved in one of the games we played against the Lakers this year because he was absent for the birth of his child. Now, since that, everything with his wife has disintegrated. And she's fighting for custody battle to keep the children in Europe and not have them anywhere over here. He's fighting to have the kids in LA with him. So that's what's going on right here. I mean, she just had a baby for him around Christmas. This is like 3 months ago. So they have a 3-month-old baby and there's a custody battle and they split up. That's, this is just, there's a lot of NBA players that don't get married. Let's just put it that way. They just don't get married. And there's big reason why. Obviously, you can ask Michael Jordan why. Don't get married. Just if you're going to have a baby with a person, don't actually put the ring on them and legally get married to them because they're going to start to get a certain call on half your money and stuff like that. So, this is the thing. Luka did get married. He is married to this woman. And now they gone south. And it's ugly and bitter and all kinds of stuff. I'll bet you what happened, and I'm doing TMZ kind of stuff because Reggie introduced it. I bet you what happened is LA ruined his marriage. I bet you that's what it is. And this is Nico Harrison, the terrorist that traded him from Dallas. They'd be a happy, wholesome family if he was still a Maverick. But they sent Luka to the city of sin, LA. And man, there's probably all kinds of different people he met there that were not right for him to meet. Maybe even porn stars. I'm just saying. So it's like, that I think that's what it has to do with. He's a Laker. He lives in LA now. And that lifestyle in that city probably messed up his family life. I'm going to say that right now. I'll bet you that's what it is. And well, maybe she doesn't want to be in the States because the States is ugly and gross and fascist and messed up. No King's March. Let's go. And she wants to have the kids out of the United States because the United States is a gross third world country of violence and depravity at this point, with a criminal in charge and a criminal country with criminal government. So Luca's estranged spouse is like, no, I do not want my children to be in the United States right now. We're going to stay here back home in Slovenia. Yeah. It's a messed up situation. In some ways, you want me to talk about it, I will. And that's what I'll say about it right there. Yeah. If you guys didn't understand what's going on there. Yeah. Let's see. Shaq Lindsay's here. Good morning, Shaq Lindsay. He's saying this morning. He's saying, Lex, I have a question. What made you fall in love with Canada? Well, I'm Canadian, man. I was born in downtown Toronto. And, I've spent the first 4 years of my life living in Toronto. And then my father got a job in Florida. We were all Canadians. My brother and I and my mother and father, the four of us, moved to Tallahassee, Florida in 1979 because my father got a job teaching architecture at the University of Florida A&M and Florida A&M University, I should say. And we lived there for 40 years. And I basically was raised in Tallahassee. So I was the Canadian kid growing up in Florida that stood up for Canada as a little kid the whole time. So yeah, I have a lot of patriotism for Canada more than the normal Canadian because I was raised in ultra patriotic America with the flag and the Pledge of Allegiance and classmates that were very much like making the difference of me being Canadian and them being American very prominent. Because I was an American citizen when I was growing up. I had a green card, and I was that foreign kid in class. So just imagine growing up in a world where former Trump, like future Trumpers are in class with you, and that's my shaping. So I always wanted to live in Canada. In fact, when I was a little kid, I used to be mad at my parents because we didn't live in Toronto, because we lived in Florida. And some people would look at you, you're crazy. We all want to live in Florida, and you wanted to live in Toronto this whole time. And I was like, yeah, I did. I did. And I don't care about the snow. I don't care about the cold. I like the gun laws. And I like also Canada's multiculturalism. And I just love the city of Toronto. Every time I came back to Toronto when I was a little kid, it was like Wonderland to me. It's like, I feel like this is where I should have been this whole time, but I'm in Florida instead. So there's a really, really strong bond for me in this country. And this is part of the reason why I'm doing what I'm doing this channel in this instance with what's happening with the United States is because I understand that country better than most of y'all here up here because I lived down there and I was raised down there. And I know the psychology of Americans to an extent. In some ways, I am Americanized because I was raised down there. So in some ways, I'm not the normal Canadian. I'm outspoken. I'm loud. I'm brash. I can be very American, ugly American. But my heart and my passion and my patriotism is for Canada, elbows up. And I'm just saying, there's no doubt about where my allegiance is, even though I am technically a dual citizen. I am an American citizen. But with the way things are going, they'll denounce my citizenship and say, you're never going to be an American again, even though, we went through all the hoops to get it. Because they don't want people like me to vote in these elections. So they're going to disenfranchise me as an American citizen from voting in American elections just because I live abroad, because that's fascism. And that's people that are scared of people like me. They're educated and understand what's going on, having a voice and a say in what should happen in the United States. So yeah, that's it in a nutshell, man. As soon as I became an adult and I got done with university, a week after I graduated from FSU, I was in Toronto living here as an adult, starting my adult life back in Canada, being done. And I wanted to stay here the whole time, but I had different setbacks where I had to go back and live in Florida again, 2 other stints after that. But I've been back in Canada now for 13 years. And I'm so happy I've been back in Canada for this period of time now. So yeah, that's it right there, Shaq Lindsay. Yeah, I was the foreign kid down south, and they called me communist, socialist. They called me all kinds of crazy shit just because I was Canadian. And you know what? I am those things. So go ahead, call me that, because I do have socialist views. And communism is just it's a system of government. I would say in some ways Cuba is doing things better than the United States in a lot of ways, but they won't tell you that. They won't tell you that. Instead, they're going to just block their oil. Yeah, let's keep going. Fiercely saying, good morning, fam, and happy game day. Agree with Lex. Our starting 5 is elite. Yeah, the Notorious Barbecue Yak is just fantastic. And you've got very different 5 elements in it. and they all have very important roles, and they cover a lot of what you need on a basketball court. You got, of course, the point guard and Emmanuel Quickly, who's playing more and more like a point guard this season and less like a combo guard, and playing really like that style. He's given up his offense to a degree to feed the other guys, but also at the same time, we can revert quickly back into a scoring guard if we need the scoring all of a sudden. He's always a dangerous threat to hit his threes and stop, start, and drive to the paint and try and get a little teardrop. So, he's a really, really solid person for this. And once again, I'm going to remind everybody, a few years ago, Raptors Nation was crying out for their own Tyrese Maxey. We need a player like Tyrese Maxey. Tyrese Maxey just kicked Fred's butt in the playoffs, and nobody can guard him. Well, we went and got the closest thing in the league to Maxey quickly. And Raptors fans don't remember this, that y'all were crying out for a guy like Maxey. We got him, and y'all aren't happy, and you say such stupid shit about him since. The people that stand by quickly and understand what he's doing this year, his improvement on defense and his conversion from a combo guard to a regular point guard this year, understand this on a deep level. And this guy's awesome, and he's really good for our team because he's a clutch performer that will hit good shots. He's already won a couple games this year for us on a buzzer beater. So it's like, come on now. What's the not like about him? RJ's the glue. RJ's the guy who's quality control. RJ's the hometown hero. RJ's the one who's going to rep and show the energy that's proper to the right level to truly, truly represent the Raptors, because he's going all out for this city and this country, because that's RJ. And, the thing about RJ is he has no ego in this. He's not the number one scorer. He's not the franchise player. He's filling all the gaps. And in some ways, you need those selfless players that don't care about getting all the accolades and getting the attention, and just are going to toil and do the hard work and maybe not even get any respect or recognition for it. So you got a guy, in some ways, he is a big, huge reason why this starting five works, because he is the guy who's filling all the jobs that aren't getting done on the certain different places, and he has no ego about it. And in some ways, he doesn't care if he gets all the points, but he's going to get a lot of points anyway, because he's just like that. He's just that kind of offensive driver. So, yeah, Brandon, a very, very good, powerful offensive weapon, one of the top offensive players in this league, a clutch player, a steady player, a dependable player. And we needed this guy. We needed this kind of player. We said this a couple years ago. We need a closer. We need a guy in the fourth quarter that are going to make big shots and help us to close the games out and win. And, well, Bobby listened. He went and got it. It's like some of these guys that are on our starting lineup, these were guys that were on our wish list like 4 years ago for roles and things we need for our team. And now we got him. Jakob Poeltl is that center we've been crying out for, and we got him, even though people don't respect him and want to trade him still. They're crazy. And this whole talk about his pay, once again, y'all are stupid. He gets $19 million a year. If he gets $27 million at the last year of his contract, the salary cap's going to balloon by then, and it's going to look way better. Once again, if you're judging salaries in the NBA, stop looking at the number. Look at the percentage of the salary cap, because that is the real thing to look at as far as value and what this guy is. And the salary cap is going to balloon in the next few years because of the TV deals and the money. And that's the thing nobody ever takes into account. They think about the money 3 years from now in the context of present. But that's stupid, because in 3 years, the money's going to be totally different for the NBA. And his percentage of our salary cap will look way different when he's making $27 million in the last year of his contract. The other thing they get mad about is, why did we sign him to such a long-term contract? Because we need that position filled. And if you think he's washed and he's too old, you're a dumbass. You are not watching these games recently, because he is not washed, and he is playing at a very high level. And anybody who thought just because he turned 30, he's over the hill, you're a dumbass. That's not over a hill in this league. Over the hill can get to a point of 35 and maybe up and higher. And his contract's going to run out before he gets to 35. Okay. Oh my gosh. Yeah, it's crazy. And then, of course, I don't even need to say anything about Scotty. We know what Scott does for this team, and we know how much he is a big, huge part of our success. That's right there. Yeah, Fiercey saying, thank you all again for the support yesterday. I had an honest discussion with Fiercey Jr., and she understood it takes losing to win. I may have good news to share soon, but we'll wait before jumping the gun. This is awesome. This is great. That's so fantastic. That sounds so wholesome. If Fiercey just had a talk, it's like, here, I want to talk to you, Fiercey Jr., real honest, real quick. And, whatever she said, hopefully it really got through to her and it helps ease the pain of losing. That's right. That's right. I like that. I like that. And I look forward to hearing your news, MJ. Yeah, y'all will be the first to know if it pans out. Thank you again, fam. For sure. For sure. RFF is there for you, Fiercey and Fiercey Jr. That's right. She's saying, I believe in the Raptors, and I noticed a few years ago we are better than the Nuggets. They just got help from the referees. Tonight, let's be so dominant that even the 8 versus 5 won't matter. Yeah, there was that one game where they threw Scott out. Scott said to Scott Foster, you're cheating. You be cheating. And Scott Foster got really mad and he double teched him and threw him out of the game. And there was just a few minutes left in the game and it was close. But having Scott have to leave the game at that point sunk us and we lost to the Nuggets. It was a very close game. We could have won if Scotty had stayed out there. In some ways, is calculated, and he was mad about the calls. In some ways, that was a learning lesson for Scott to understand this is not what you do with Scott Foster because he's punitive. And in some ways, he's pretty sensitive to this kind of talk. These people come to him like this. Luka does this to Scott Foster. He might throw him out too because he's like very sensitive because of his history and the allegations about him and Tim Donaghy. So, yeah, Scotty's saying, oh, you're cheating. You're a cheater. You're out of here. Throwing him out right like that. And no warning either. He just gave him 2 right real quick and threw him right the hell out, which is crazy, man. It's crazy. Yeah. So, man, that is the game you're alluding to. And I remember that. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know if they're going to try and help them today. James Williams can do this. He is in the realm of ref manipulators. But I don't know if he will care enough to do it today. I don't know if the league will care either. In some ways, I don't know. We'll just have to see how it goes. If we do see some 8 versus 5, well, we warned you this morning. That's what I'll say right there. Yeah, Smooth saying Chris Bosh is irrelevant to me, meaningless in a basketball context. Can't argue his stats as a Raptor, impressive but empty. It's a tough thing, man. In some ways, it's sad. It's just sad. It's kind of like, you were one of, I would say, honestly, if I'm being really real talk, honest, if there's 4 pillars of the franchise of the Raptors that matter for like the different eras, Chris is one of those 4, unfortunately, because he was a certain chapter for a long span of our franchise leader. And he is still up there in the franchise leader stats on a lot of different categories. It's just sad. I mean, I get it. He wanted to go win championships, and he won championships in Miami with the Heat, but he wasn't as good a player for Miami. In some ways, he's more savvy, but he wasn't the same stats guy. So I don't know. It's all the way he chose to deal with his life. Maybe he left and he had a bad taste in his mouth. Fans were not totally nice to him afterwards, and he was just like, fuck y'all. And he just kept going in that direction. When he has come and circled back to be having anything to do with the Raptors, it's been few and far between. There's maybe been like once or twice he's come back and waved to the crowd in the arena. And it's just like, it's a missed opportunity for him, honestly. It's a missed opportunity for him. In some ways, if he could have that renaissance comeback with the Raptors somehow, some way, it'd be interesting. I don't know if it's necessary, but I don't know if he'll ever get to that point, even with his recent health scare, where he was on the floor bleeding all over himself and he didn't even know what happened. Yeah, it's a weird thing, man. I mean, those Bosch years were tough to watch. They were really hard time. That was a really hard time in my life personally. But also just the Raptors were just having awful times. I mean, it was weird. They were every other year. They were in the playoffs and then they were out and dismal. And, stuff like Jorge Garboza's leg getting broken really messed up that season, and we were going towards something really good that year. But losing Garboza killed all of our momentum that season because we were coming for the playoffs that year. Oh my gosh, yeah, we were really good that year. But yeah, the Bosch years are weird. They're weird, and in some ways, like I said, this is why I suss these big players for our team out. Like, are you truly riding with us? Do you truly fuck with the Raptors? Because Bosch can play for us for 8 years like he did and just throw us out like trash like that. That's why in some ways I have to be suspicious of players that come to Toronto and whether their heart is really loyal and for our team, like people like DeMar DeRozan, Kyle Lowry, Fred VanVleet, and Pascal Siakam. Jakob Poeltl is loyal to our team. He's very much loyal to our team. RJ Barrett is very much loyal to our team. Scotty, by all appearances, is very loyal to our team. So, that's important. We don't want people doing things like Bosch, and we don't want to go through the heartache of something like Vince Carter. It sucks. It sucks. Fiercely saying, please, Monique, get someone to help you with the Discord access. Yeah, I mean, it's just something it's just really is the new world for us to communicate. And it's a lot easier to communicate in certain ways on there, as far as talking directly to each other, sharing videos with each other, and just in general, that whole kind of community field has been moved there. And it doesn't feel right without the heart of our community, Monique Lawrence. And I know that in some ways she's been frustrated with trying to get it done. But who knows? Maybe we can try again at some point and she'll be successful to get in there and it'll all be good from there. That's what I'm hoping. That's what I'm hoping. Yeah, Reggie's saying this. Orlando Robinson was waived a few months back, telling that he didn't get a call from an NBA team. Yeah, this is true. These are red flags, definitely. There's got to be something, because even though he played well for us last year, they didn't put a pin in him and say this guy's a keeper. One of it is maybe his age. He is a little bit older, and I don't know how much more of a ceiling he has to develop into, although he did just drop 44 yesterday. And that is a little bit higher than what he was doing before, right? Let's see. Guardian Transit's here. Good morning to Guardian Transit. Long time no see. Always good to see Guardian Transit drop into the chat. He's saying, I had 2 babies this week. Baby 1 3 days ago. Baby 2 days ago. Cows. Laugh out loud. Raps on a roll. Let's keep it going. So you had 2 cow babies this week? Little calves? That's cute. That's awesome. So you had 2 babies this week. Cows. Really? That's interesting, man. Well, I wish you're a blessing to your new baby cows. And do you name them as pets, or do you keep them as meat and do not name them? No feelings of no feelings of attachment to these animals, because these are actually meat stock. Yeah, it's tough, that delineation. In some ways it's like, I get it, PETA people. And should we be eating animals and meat? I mean, this is something I may need to evolve on still. I don't know. But either way, congratulations on the birthing of 2 calves this week. Guardian Transit. That's awesome. Raps on a roll. Let's keep it going. Let's go. That's right. G's saying this. Rest in peace, Chuck Norris. What? Did that really happen? Did that really happen? Seriously, let me go look. I want to see this. This is crazy. All right, let's see. Chuck Norris passed away. Man, that can't be true. He's just too strong, right? He's too strong. Let's see. I don't see it myself, but that may be true. I don't know. Let me go look it up. This is crazy. Let me see. I want to make sure, because I've never thought he could die, man. Don't break me up. Holy cow, he did die 26 minutes ago. 86 years old. Chuck Norris, Walker, Texas Ranger, martial arts champion, and iconic meme maker. He died. Yeah. Yikes. This is crazy. You know what? We got to make a joke in his honor, right? Chuck Norris didn't die. We all died instead. That's so stupid, but it's funny. Yeah. Oh man, that sucks. Congrats to Guardian and good go Raptors. Chuck Norris is a bad dude. So though, in some ways, Chuck Norris is a legend, but he's absolutely a shithead for his personal beliefs. Let's just put it that way. Let's just put it that way. He has some bad political views. So yeah, rest in peace, Chuck Norris. You're an icon for kids of the 80s. We had your action figures and we watched your Delta Force. And you became such an interesting legend later on with all the Chuck Norris jokes. Yeah, it's sad either way. I mean, he's a famous guy that entertained a lot of people. So we're sad about this. Trevor J saying this. Tempo tickets on sale today. Scotiabank Arena games, June 27th, July 30th, and August 18th, and Montreal and Vancouver stuff too. Yeah, it's getting closer. They're amping up. The Portland Fire just finished their coaching staff, hiring their whole entire coaching staff. There's still a couple of hires that we need to make to round out Sandy Brondello's coaching staff. But I seen on the Portland Fire, former Raptors assistant coach and champion Brittany Donaldson is on their coaching staff out in Portland as one of the assistant coaches for the Fire. So that's pretty cool. Brittany, Raptors champion with 2019 team, is going to be WNBA assistant coach for Portland Fire this season. So yeah, man, this is going to be such a whirlwind. I'm kind of worried about my workload, seriously, because we're going to get to this point, like when April starts, where I am going to have to do like two things at once for this channel. It's going to be very, very hectic, and trying to sort out the WNBA news along with all the Raptors stuff still going on, including the 905 in the playoffs too. Yeah, two of the Raptor teams both in the playoffs, and also the WNBA Toronto Tempo launching their inaugural year. This is going to be a huge workload for old Lex. This month coming up in April is going to be so hectic for me that in some ways I'm a little daunted by it. I'm like, you got to look at it, Lex, as a challenge and enjoy it and have fun. But man, I'm going to be doing a lot of work for this channel because that's a lot to understand and know with the WNBA and the tempo coming in, along with I don't want to shirk my duties for the Raptors stuff too. So yeah, it's gonna be a lot, man. It's gonna be a lot here, man. Let's see. Guardian Transit saying I've been checking the draft board. Would like to see the Raptors get a true big 7-foot Henri Vessar will be available. Good D, floor spacing big, can shoot the three. Well, you know what? I think you just stepped into, and this is crazy because this is March 20th, the first scout of the year for me to do for the draft. I'm going to go ahead and scout this guy, and we'll go look at him right now, Guardian Transit. This is one of the segments we do on the show in the spring when the draft is coming up. Lex's scout of the day. And this is basically like a music reaction thing because I've never heard of this guy before. I'm going to go watch his clips and learn about him right now, and I'm going to give you all my unfiltered reaction to this player, just like somebody listening to a music song for the first time in their life, like Play It Again, Sue. So this is what we're going to do right now. I'm going to go look up Henry, and we're going to go see what he's all about real quick on the scout of the day. All right, let's see. Henry, what is his name? Henry Henry V. Sar. V. Sar. It's like Alex Sar with a V on the front of it. Okay. V. Sar. Okay, here we go. All right, he's Estonian. Whoa, he's already got good marks with me because he's from my homeland in Tallinn. Okay, so he's 21 years old and he's 7 feet tall. He's 225 pounds. Just so y'all know, Estonia's favorite sport is basketball. And when I went to Estonia a couple of years ago, there were basketball courts all over the place. They're basketball crazy in the country of Estonia. So this makes sense. So he plays for the Tar Heels. He's the center for the Tar Heels. And he was second team all ACC this year. And he played for Arizona before he came to the Tar Heels. Okay. And he's on the Estonian national team. All right. All right. He's already got some favor with me just because of this. All right. We'll go look at him on YouTube now. I'll go get a clip of him playing, and we will see what Lex thinks as far as Henri Vessar. All right. Let me see if I can get a short clip of him. We'll go ahead and get a 2-minute clip of him playing against Clemson. Yeah, we'll do that one real quick. All right, I got to make sure that volume. All right, let's see. He's the big man in the middle. Let's see. Ooh, he threw it down on that one. Okay, it was a block. Okay. All right, let me see. I want to see what this guy can do. He looks like he's got a pretty good body frame. His shoulders are nice for possibly building out his muscles on his upper body. That's a nice little tip. He had a good second chance shot for them. They missed, and he came in and tipped it. There's a nice turnaround. That's interesting. His footwork needs to be worked on, though. It's a little bit all weird, like his leg kicked up high, but it's an interesting concept, and I like that he has touch and the ability. Whoa, that's a weird rotation. His rotation goes like Chris Boucher's horizontally. It's weird. There's a really nice timing block. Of course, that's a smaller college player that's easy to do against. Here we go. There's a pick and roll. He comes down the lane and he throws up. You could work on his touch. If he worked with Jakob, he'd probably get a lot of his push shots done well. Here we go. The dribbler's coming around. He comes around the hook. He doesn't make it, but Vessar is there to put the ball back in. Looks like he's very good at garbage man. There's a pass. There's a little dump pass. Just throwing it over the defender to another teammate, and they get an easy shot. He's got a pretty good goatee, too. Let's just put it that way. There he is in the lane. He gets the ball, nice catch, and he backs down. He misses the first shot, but he gives a good second effort. He's not totally clean. He's definitely a project. If he comes to the league, he's definitely going to have to bulk up, as all big men have to do. But he looks like he's got a frame that he can get up and down the court pretty fast. There's a three. Okay, that looked like a pretty decent shot mechanic on his three there. It doesn't look like he has an ugly three, and he might be able to. There's another one. Okay, from the elbow, a pretty good catch and shoot 3-point shooter for his size. So that he's got that in his repertoire. That he's not going to be like Yak like that. He's actually got a 3-point shot. All right, this guy drives and kicks, and there he is, another three. So he had 3 threes in this game against Clemson, and this was an ACC tournament quarterfinal that just happened in the last couple weeks. His rotation on his shot's weird, man. Like, he has a really weird rotation. Like, in some ways, he's got some shot mechanics and fundamentals he needs to work on and clean up. But there's a lot to work with there. As far as his natural talent for his size and his ability to get up and down the court, that's very attractive. The fact that he has good timing for blocking shots, we can work on his shot mechanics and get that rotation better and get his feet on the ground when he's doing little turnarounds. I like it. Thumbs up from me. Where is he projected, Guardian Transit, in the mock drafts right now? Where is he projected? Because we got to figure this. We're not going to be a lottery team this year. We're going to be a team that's going to be picking in the teens. And so we have to figure that out. 25? Okay. Yeah. I mean, I don't know if that's we'll have to see where we land with our spot in the draft. That may be a reach for our first round pick. But if he's left over in the second round and he's still hanging around in the second round, maybe Bobby will put a flyer on him with our second round pick. I don't know. I'm so bad. I'm not even up to date on where our picks are this year because I don't care. I'm playing for the playoffs. And, that stuff we'll all deal with after we're out. And we'll look at it all when the season's over. But, that's interesting, man. Yeah, we're sitting at 20 right now. Okay, so we'll have the 20th pick right now. Okay, this is good information. I'm going to give Guardian Transit a dunk for bringing me the first ever scout of the year. We hadn't done this yet. I guess people just haven't been anxious for me to scout people yet. Did y'all remember this this segment, guys? And that we will do this. If you ask me to do a scout on a college player right now, I will do it on the show because this segment is open. And it's fantastic that he brought me this guy, Henri Virsar of Estonia and Tallinn. That's very, very cool. Very, very cool. Thank you, Guardian Transit. You got a dunk, and you got your first dunk of the year. You're a BI3, man. You got a notorious BI3. That's awesome. All right, let's see. All right, let's see. Monique saying, so I'm going to the game on the 27th against the Pelicans, 8:30 start. Fantastic. That's a revenge game. That's a game where maybe RJ has a receipt for DeJounte Murray. That's a game where the Raptors need to beat their ass badly in Toronto. And that's a game where Brandon Ingram needs to show up and show he wants to beat his former team and not just say hi. That's what we need on that game. I'm glad you're going to that game and you got that one covered. I'm going to head down to the Orlando game a couple of days later and try and be there for that very, very important, pivotal Orlando Magic game on the 29th of this month. Yeah, and I bet maybe you're going to go to that game too, possibly. Maybe. Man, that's the game. That's the one. Man, that's the one that has such huge implications. That's the one the ESPN says they're watching. In fact, in some ways, ESPN's saying the must-watch games for the stretch run for the playoffs, 3 of them are Raptors games. And they're actually promoting the Raptors games against Orlando and Miami as 3 of the most important games for the whole entire playoff stretch. So it's interesting how they're putting us in the spotlight indirectly. I'm glad we have home court advantage in all 3 of those games. It's awesome, man. Yeah, let's see. All right, Guardian Transit saying, we will see tonight if our team has turned a true corner heading towards postseason. Whatever happens tonight, let's just think about our journey this year. We want them to play better than they did against the Nuggets on New Year's Eve, for sure, because they were a dud that night. And that was such a sad, pathetic game in some ways. But at the same time, if we don't win against the Nuggets tonight, but we play them very close and it's a very competitive game, I'll still take that as a win because in some ways we just beat Detroit. We just beat Phoenix. and these were tough games, and we can't expect us to be perfect going out. But if we play hard, we give it a best effort, and we compete, and we don't totally win tonight for whatever reason, whether it's 8 versus 5 or Nikola is brilliant, Jamal Murray's bombing, whatever it is, we want to be able to hold our heads up high, even if we are defeated, that we left it all on the court. That's the most important thing. We don't want to look bad like we're playing sloppy or we're making poor careless mistakes like turnovers that drive Monique crazy. We want to play solid, good ball, give it our best effort, and let the best team win. And that's what I said on Sunday. Let the best team win. And well, we beat the Pistons. So tonight, I'll say the same thing. If we play well enough and we kick ass enough to be able to beat the Nuggets and be the best team that wins, so be it. That's the way I look at it right now. Now, there's no shame in losing to top NBA teams in very close competitive games, especially when you're on the road on their home court. So, I'm going to give them an area of success that even goes into being defeated. But if they're really bad and they get routed and all this kind of stuff, yeah. But if they kick butt, they just win barely, or they just barely lose, then I'll be like, I won't be so harsh on them tomorrow in some ways. You know what I mean? But this is a true indicator of how much we're, as you say, turning the corner. Well, we'll just have to see. We'll just have to see how it goes, man. We'll just see how it goes. Smooth saying, any names linked to the tempo? No, not yet, because legally they can't really talk about this. But if I was a WNBA insider, I could probably speculate different stuff that could be possible. On our Discord, there is a list in our tempo section that has a list of free agents for this offseason for the WNBA. And some of the names are in green, and that means they're likely to leave their team that they're on now. And some of the names are orange, and they may leave the team. And some of the names like that are Emma Messiman, Maisha Hines Allen is in green, Azura Stevens, Brittany Sykes, Easy McBeggar, Shatori Walker Kimbrough, Michaela Onenweir, Megan Gustafson, Rachel Banham. There's a lot of confusion around what's happening with the WNBA because there's different designations and the protections of the expansion draft. Apparently, what they're saying is they're only going to let all the teams protect 5 players because they have to have a good enough pool for both Portland and Toronto to derive their expansion players from. So you've got 5 players protected on each team, and there's obviously going to probably pick their best 5, their most best 5. And then you got different things like restricted versus unrestricted free agents and stuff like that. So, we're just gonna have to see how it shakes out. I'm so new to the WNBA in a lot of ways to cover it in depthly that I'm kind of just gonna watch and observe and react afterwards. In some ways, I'm not smart enough to prognosticate or predict things that are going to happen with the tempo because I don't know the landscape as well as other people that are WNBA experts. But I'm definitely going to be reacting to everything that happens with the tempo. So this may not be a good place to get ahead of things with Toronto tempo, but you can definitely keep up with it with this channel. So that's what I say right there. Yeah. Is Kia Nurse available? Yeah, she's going to be out there and she could very well be an inaugural tempo player. Yeah. Once again, I have no idea. And there's even been speculation. They don't even tell the players who's protected or not. Because think about it. If they don't make it public who's protected from the expansion draft, it's just a surprise. Like, oh, you got drafted by Toronto Tempo for the expansion draft because the Chicago Sky didn't protect you, and now you're on this team, Kia Nurse. Something like that could happen. So I think that they do that is because think about it. If you're unprotected by the team, and you're a player, and that, and you got to come back to the team and you weren't protected, maybe there's bad feelings. So I don't even know how they exactly do this as far as like publicly announcing the players that all the teams know, the front offices know, but I don't even know if they tell the players who's protected and who isn't. And it's just all so new to me. The systems of the WNBA are not exactly the NBA's. They're similar, but there's a lot of questions I still have myself. And we'll see how it all shapes up. I have trust and faith in the former players, Sandy Brondello and Monica Wright Rogers, and their knowledge and understanding of this league that they're going to do some amazing things and they're going to build a really good team from what they can in the first season, whether it's an expansion draft. One of the things I heard that is an area that they can really delve into and possibly do really well is a lot of WNBA teams have rights to foreign players that have not come across the sea yet to play in the WNBA. So there's some prospective European players and players from around the world that are very good that haven't come here yet. And some of these teams may not protect the rights to these players, and that these players could be an avenue that Monica Wright Rogers could add to our team and get really good talent from out of the blue, because they're players that are really good, but they've been playing foreign and overseas. But if they decide to come here, finally, they come play for the Toronto Tempo, they could show up and be like a Jose Calderon, a kind of effect on our team. Just an unknown person from Europe that's never played in the WNBA, but they're very good. So I've heard that a little bit. And the other factor that we have to remember with the Tempo too is Sandy Brondello is extremely popular in this league. And there are a lot of players in this league that would come to Toronto just to play for her. They'll be like, oh, I always dreamed about playing for the great coach Brondello. And she's a draw. And not only that, she's a draw with former players that played on her championship teams that may want to come up here. Like Brittany Griner played for her. Is there a world where Brittany Griner's like, you know what? This stupid ass country's turned into Russia. And I know because I was in that Russian prison and I want to go play in Canada now. Some people are debating whether Toronto Tempo are at a disadvantage or advantage for all the classic reasons they say about the Raptors. Well, first of all, the weather complaint can't happen because the weather is perfect in Canada during the WNBA season. You're not playing in here over winter. In fact, playing in Toronto in the WNBA is actually really awesome because the weather is so beautiful in Canada and in Toronto during the WNBA season. So that's definitely not a detraction, is the weather, unless they want to do off-season stuff here during the NBA season. And then the taxes is always something that people will bring up and say, well, the taxes and all this stuff. But once again, New York Liberty, that team is dealing with the same kind of tax percentages as we are here in Canada. It's just, I think that that also that's in a plus for us is that our country is more progressive and more going towards the right things in the future. And, maybe some of the more progressive WNBA players would be attracted to playing in Canada just because of the dumpster fire that the United States is right now politically. So, it's going to be very interesting to see how this roster shapes. And I'll make one prediction, even as an uneducated person on the WNBA, that there's going to be some sort of crazy signing that we're going to make free agents wise that's going to blow the whole league apart, because they're going to be like, whoa, the Tempo got this player in their first year because they wanted to sign there because of Sandy and their connection to Sandy, and they're a Toronto Tempo in the first year of the team. I really truly believe this is going to happen. That there's going to be one player specifically, maybe two players, it could be a couple players, that's going to just be like, whoa, the Tempo are going to be serious because look at who they just drew up here and is on their team and signing up to play for them. Let's see if Lex is right on this, and we're going to find out in the next month. So my prediction is that we're going to have an amazing free agency signing, and it's going to turn the WNBA upside down in some sort of weird way, because they're like, whoa, that's not fair. How did they get that person already? It's going to be the effect of it. It's going to be awesome, man. Yeah. Yeah. Let's keep going in the chat. See what y'all are saying. Monique is saying this. I'm starting to love the support Neka Ogamaiki is getting from everywhere. Stand up, WNBA. Yeah. She did an amazing job. And it was really nice to hear her sister on First Take with Stephen A. Smith. You should shut up, Stephen A., because you're talking too much. And you came off as mansplaining in that segment I saw talking about the WNBA collective bargaining agreement. Let the ladies speak. This is their realm, and this is their world. And you talking for so long in that interview and kind of talking down to her, it's just not a good look. It made me feel icky as a man. It's like, bro, you're on TV in front of millions of people mansplaining to the women about the accomplishment that they just did. Like, who the fuck are you, Stephen A. Smith? Seriously, let that lady talk about her sister's achievement and be very proud. She got teary-eyed for a second there. She's like, I'm taking off my broadcaster hat and I'm putting my sister hat on, and I just want to talk about how proud I am of my sister and what she did in this labor talks with the owners for the WNBA. Yeah, it's an amazing, beautiful thing, man. It's so good, so good. Sandra's saying Mamu chatted with Monica's saying Mamu chatted with Kayla Gray with Spot after Pelicans game that I messaged Kayla after the Bulls game. Yeah, Mamu's hilarious, man. I think that Mamu could do this thing like Robin Lopez going forward. I've been talking to Alessandro the last couple days and talking about Sandro being so crazy and beating up the mascot with the bat. And yeah, it's just like man, good times. Yeah. Sandro, you're awesome. Whatever happens this offseason, I wish you the best. I hope you come back and play for the Raptors next year. But I also understand if you got cash out and get the most money that you can in another place, possibly, I'll understand why. If he's a one and done Raptor for just 1 year, don't get upset, Raptors Nation. This man came to the city on a cheap deal this year. We got him up and got him higher in his career, and he's ready to get some money. So you can't fault him for that. And in some ways, there's a line probably where Bobby's got to walk that line on how much is Sandro worth it and how much is an overpay. And there may be a team in the NBA this offseason that's going to overpay for Mamu Kelishvili. So unfortunately, he could be like Bismack Biyombo and be a one and done Raptor. One amazing season, kicked so much butt, earned the right to get a big paycheck, and took off with it. And I won't get mad at him for that. This is what these guys are doing it for. And once a Raptor in good service, so many good memories, I would want him to be back. And if he comes back, I'll be overjoyed. Don't get me wrong. It's just in some ways, I want to brace people ahead of time so that they understand this is not totally Bobby's fault if Sandro does not come back next season, because this man needs to make his money. And if he's going to get more money from a shitty team in the league to go play for them, well, he'll do it. And in some ways, that's the right decision for him personally. Yeah. Yeah. Smooth saying, yeah, like Rick Mahorn in Minnesota. Yeah. Yeah. Like Rick Mahorn didn't know that he was going to get expanded drafted from, I think it was from the Pistons, or was it the Pistons? It was either the Pistons or the Sixers. And he didn't want to go. He didn't report for the Timberwolves. And this was like in their expansion draft when they did it with Orlando in '89. Yeah, this happens. Yeah, he was the Pistons. He was on the Pistons championship team. And then they didn't protect him. And he got picked like the first pick in the expansion draft by the Timberwolves. And he said, nope, I'm not going. Yeah. In some ways, you got to be smart like Isaiah Thomas. And you take somebody like BJ Armstrong and you know they're not going to report. You got to flip them for an asset and get good players otherwise. Even if the person doesn't want to come here, you can still use them to get really good chips for your team. And that's what Isaiah did. Man, the more and more time goes by, I hate how they sully Isaiah's name around Toronto and his part with the Raptors. He was not a bad person. He was just a very opinionated young black man. And some people didn't like that. And they cast aspersions and descriptors on him that wasn't really fair. And once again, I don't feel like they treated Isaiah with the amount of respect that he deserved as an NBA Hall of Famer and champion, coming straight off his career to come to Toronto and be an executive for our team. And I mean, this is another brilliant move that he made, drafting BJ Armstrong with the knowledge that he knew he wasn't going to want to play for us, but flipping him to Golden State and getting like 3 very good players for him in return. And they were bigs too, which is interesting. He flipped a backup point guard for the champion Bulls into 3 serviceable bigs. And one of them started for us and was very good for us. The other 2 were mixed results of what they did. So, yeah, this is exactly right. Raptors Champs is saying, good morning, Raptors Freaks and Champs. Good morning to you, Raptors Champs. Always champions because of 2019. That's right. Yeah, Smooth saying, referring to Kia Nurse as a comparison. I would love for Kia to come play for Toronto Tempo, and I think she will. I honestly do. She's in the right area where she won't be protected by the expansion draft, and she will be available, and it makes sense. You want Canadian content on this team. Like, where are the other Canadian players right now? Aaliyah Edwards, Bridget Carlton. Bridget Carlton's another one. I don't know if the Lynx will protect her because she's not one of their starters. She's somebody who comes off the bench. So there could be the possibility that Carlton or Nurse come to our team. Kia Nurse is not necessarily going to be protected by the Chicago Sky. I think she's a free agent anyway. So, I think it's a high probability. I'll bet you Kia Nurse would love to play for the first year tempo. I don't even doubt this, that she would be like, yeah, I don't care if it's my hometown. It's fun. I'm a veteran. I'm not young. I'm smart about maturity. I'm not gonna screw up in my hometown, playing in my hometown like Delano Banton. No, I'm gonna play right, and I'm wise at this point for so many different WNBA teams I played for. I played for Team Canada. I'll be back home. It's great for marketing. I mean, it's great for me and TSN as far as my broadcast work for the Raptors. So I could just see Kia Nurse absolutely being a first year tempo player, unless she's protected somehow, some way. Unless for that, yeah. Monique is saying this. Happy for Brittany Donaldson. Also, congratulations, Sylvia Fowles. Also, yeah, I think she added to the Portland Fire coaching staff. Also, yeah, just the last couple of days. Brittany was hired by them a while back. They just fleshed out their 5-person coaching staff yesterday, is what I've seen. Yeah, Fiercely saying, fun fact or not so fun. With the new negotiations, Aja Wilson, aka the best at WNBA player, will potentially get 1.4 per season, while Bronny James gets $2 million in the NBA. Yeah, I mean, it's a start. Look, some of these WNBA players are celebrating that they're going to just become millionaires now. That sounds crazy. You would have thought some of them were already millionaires. But no, this is the first time this uptick in this money has gotten to this level so that they can actually say, I'm a millionaire, which is crazy. It's crazy to me. It's a start. It just shows how badly they've been paid all along. And yeah, that's messed up that Aja Wilson makes less money in a year than Bronny James. That is messed up. But the direction that things are going and with the agreement they came to, the potential for growth and the expansion of the salary cap for the WNBA is going to happen in the future. So this may be for now, but it is ugly looking. Yeah, it's ugly looking. But we also have to remember the WNBA generates this amount of money and the NBA generates this amount of money. And that's part of it right there. Yeah, Kaz is saying, good morning, Lex and Raptor Free Crew. Good morning to you, Trucker Kaz. TGIF, my guy. Thank God it's Friday. And also, it's a double header for Raptors basketball tonight at 9 p.m. Let's go. That's right. Let me go look at my Instagram stories real quick. I do have a few. Last night, the Philadelphia 76ers stopped in Sacramento and played the Kings. And you know what that means? Well, Nick Nurse did not hold back from the brotherly love between Lowry and DeRozan. And he put Kyle out on the court to play against DeRozan last night. Now, who won that game? I think Philly did win that game last night. But yeah, pretty cool. Yeah, they did end up beating them. But yeah, really awesome to see DeMar and Kyle reunited on the road in Sacramento. And Kyle got 9 minutes, 0 points. He took one shot and he had a turnover. He was a minus 21. And meanwhile, DeRozan had a bad night too. 23 minutes, 13 points on 6 of 10 shooting with 3 rebounds, 5 assists, and 2 turnovers, a minus 26 for him. Precious, 12 points and 7 rebounds. But yeah, the Kings lost to the Sixers. Couldn't help us out in the playoff run. But it was nice, always nice to see our two guys together, Lowry and DeRozan. The bromance is still very, very strong and always will be. Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, if Kyle retires this year, DeRozan keeps playing. I mean, in some ways, we want to have the retirement jersey ceremony together, right? Or maybe not. Maybe it's right to spread them out. I'll bet you Keith Pelly would be like, no, we can't put them together. We want to capitalize on both of them. So keep them separate so we can have separate nights to make as much money off of them both. And if Kyle retires first, they'll retire his jersey first, and then they'll retire DeMar's after because he'll probably play longer than Kyle. I mean, that makes sense because Kyle started before DeMar, right? Kelly Olynyk is celebrating that the Spurs have clinched the playoffs. And yeah, he's on the interview with Victor, standing next to him, getting interviewed. This is the happy times in San Antonio. As Fred VanVleet says, though, they improved nothing. So they got to go in the playoffs and win a playoff series before he'll respect them. Of course, that's a Houston Rocket talking there. Eugenio Murray got an MVP overseas somewhere where he's playing. I don't know what he did, but he got 18 points and 5 assists. And I think he's playing. What team are you playing for right now, Eugene? He just jumps from league to league so much. Are you still on Baskonia right now? I can't tell where you're playing right now. Let's see what else we got in the Instagram. Let's see. No, 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 no. Yeah, Savannah Hamilton's got the key dates for the WNBA season. Siakam is giving his jersey to some friend of his. I don't know who that is. Fred's congratulating the WNBA leadership on their agreement that they just made. Jamal McGlure has got open tryouts. Oh, this is awesome, guys. April the 18th at Pan Am Center, I'm going to guess. The Scarborough Shooting Stars are having open tryouts to join the team this season. So if you're good, a basketball player, you want to play some professional basketball, if you have $199, you can pay to try out for Scarborough Shooting Stars this season coming up. The open tryouts will be April the 18th. So yeah, Canada, Toronto, Greater Toronto area. You guys want to play with the Scarborough Shooting Stars and get your foot in the door in professional basketball? Well, there's a chance. Actually, they're going to do the tryouts at Royal Crown School on Finch Avenue East, 4620 Finch Avenue East. It'll be from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. The session information. $199 per athlete is how much it costs. And included with the registration, exclusive Scarborough Shooting Stars reversible practice jersey and the opportunity to compete in front of team staff and evaluators. So yeah, check that out. Of course, Jamal McGlure is involved in the front office of Scarborough Shooting Stars, and that's my CBL team. So yeah, somebody go try out, make the team. I want to see a friend on CBL team. That'd be fun. That would be fun. Let's see what else. We got CJ Miles going on different podcasts talking up the Raptors. And basically what he said recently about the Raptors is that the Raptors keep drafting the right kind of guys. He talked really big about Shed and Elijah Martin. And then he's just saying, don't sleep on the Raptors. They're a team that are doing things right. Those players really care. They're bought in and they're going all out. And when you have a team like that, that's a very dangerous team. So I appreciate former Raptor, and his birthday was this week, CJ Miles, tooting the horn of the Raptors and talking about, well, I've been around the team recently because I've been taking pictures of them. And from my insider knowledge, this team is being run very, very well, is what CJ Miles is saying right now. So, yeah, there you go. I think that's it for the Instagram stories for today. I actually went through a bunch of them. Kirk Goldsberry has come out with the efficiency landscape for this week, and it came out just an hour ago. And the Raptors are in the good quadrant. They're right next to the Suns and the Miami Heat and the Orlando Magic, but we're in that really good square, the one where you're on the right positive side of everything. So I'm loving it, man. The Raptors in a really good place with their efficiency according to the efficiency landscape. You guys follow that? I follow it because it comes out once a week. It's really, really good. Let's see. Kaloy saying, morning, everyone. Great night last night. Orlando and the Heat both lost. Yeah, fantastic stuff. Thank you, Lakers. Thank you, Hornets, for doing what you do. That's right. Fiercely saying, I was very critical of Precious, but I'm glad he's getting a great opportunity to shine and contribute in Sacramento. He's been good for me in my fantasy league. That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, this is the last week of the regular season for the Raptor Freak Yahoo NBA Fantasy League. So get yourself set up. Yeah, get yourself set up. And I'm starting to set up the WNBA Fantasy League. So if you're interested in playing WNBA Fantasy, leave a comment in here and let me know that you want to play. Seriously, because we're going to be getting that set up soon on ESPN. Yeah. You know, Precious has had a weird career. He had his rookie years in Miami, and they didn't really use him right. Then he came up to Toronto, and we used him right at times, but then there were all kinds of weird stuff, like having him play with Malachi and Nick Nurse doing weird things with Precious. And then we traded him with OG to New York, and he had some hurrahs in New York on the Knicks for a little while there, but they didn't find value in him, let him go too. And he's found his way to Sacramento at this point. And in some ways it's tough because it's like, you know, it's not probably the way his career he thought his career would go. But I would say you're very successful at Chua because you're in the league. You're starting for an NBA team right now. You're not in the G League. and you're not out of the league. So count your blessings and understand you've got a starting spot in the NBA, and there's only a certain amount of people that can say that. So yeah, he's a very successful basketball player. And there were times where we wondered while he was on the Raptors whether he was going to be in the league in much longer in a couple years. Well, Precious is sustaining, and he is in the league still. And this summer, we were worried because he took so long to get signed and picked up by a team that maybe his career was over, or maybe he was heading for the G League. Yikes. Yikes. Mo's saying this. Oh, Lex, by the way, read Savannah Hamilton's Twitter bio, likely covering tempo, not official yet, but just so you know. Nah, I could tell that was coming for sure, and that makes sense. She's working for CBC right now, and maybe like CBC does have some of the broadcasting rights to the WNBA. So I wouldn't be surprised if Savannah Hamilton is either going to be doing sideline reporting for the Toronto Tempo like she did for the Raptors, or maybe even doing some broadcasting in the booth. I don't know. We'll have to see. Either way, we know her and Ashley are going to be doing Cinderella Stories, their podcast, covering the WNBA in depth. And these are the people I'm talking about that know this league better than me. So, they're probably going to have better analysis on the WNBA than me. And I'm perfectly okay with that. I have to learn and start somewhere. But once again, I'll react to it and I'll cover it. I don't want to ignore it. I'm excited about it. And I want to share my passion for basketball with the WNBA world also. So it's part of it right there. Yeah, it's part of it right there. Let's see. Trevor J. Okay, this is interesting. Trevor J saying that Dennis Rodman will be inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame in April. This is weird, man. Like, seriously, why? Why you guys, I know y'all poo-poo the WCW so much, WWE. In some ways, you act like that history didn't happen. In fact, you give their content for free on YouTube now to sour and sewer the value of it, so that you're giving away all the WCW stuff online for free at this point. Because Rodman never did anything in the WWE proper. He did things in WCW. He was NWO. He was with Hulk Hogan and Hollywood Hogan and Rodzilla and fighting Karl Malone and DDP at Road Wild. This is a weird one. In some ways, this is another one of those dumb celebrity inductions that just don't make sense. And it's like, why do you do this? I mean, seriously, it's not like Rodman was a good wrestler. He was horrible. His clothesline was absolute shit. And it's like, why? I love Dennis myself, and I love the whole part that he did in NWO, but this is not Hall of Fame worthy. This is what makes the WWE Hall of Fame a joke. It's the fact that the idiot Orange Cheeto pedophile in the White House is in the WWE Hall of Fame. It shows that right there, it's a joke that idiot would be in there. The pedophile rapist in charge of the United States is in the WWE Hall of Fame. So this is just add another weird add to that. It's not like anybody takes the WWE Hall of Fame seriously in the wrestling world that actually knows anything about wrestling as the pure Hall of Fame for wrestling. There's many, many professional wrestling Hall of Fames that are not done by the WWE. They're done by the collective, like Cauliflower Alley and the retired wrestling groups, NWA groups and stuff like that. They'll do their own Hall of Fame, and it makes more sense. I ran my own wrestling Hall of Fame on Facebook up until recently, and we did it for the fans. We had the fans vote for who should be in instead of just picking weird people like Dennis Rodman and Donald Trump. So yeah, this makes me, as much as I love Rodman, as much as he's one of my favorite NBA players of all time, this makes me respect the WWE Hall of Fame even less. So it's like, yeah, it just makes sense, man. It just makes sense. It's like so dumb, man. That's so dumb. I don't know why they did that. It's really kind of weird, man. Really kind of weird. Okay, Mo's got my cutoff. W stream, W vibes. Go Raptors for life. Keep at it always, Lex. Always Raptors free cruise, strong forever. Just helping me limit the comments. I appreciate that, Mo. I really, really do. The stream is so much more fun when you're here. Seriously. Fiercely saying from Sportsnet to covering tempo is top notch. Yeah. I mean, she's going to land on her feet. She's talented. She's very, very good at what she does. She's getting better and better. She wasn't totally great at the beginning, but she worked really hard to get more professional and get more clear with her delivery and the way she does things. And I thought she was doing fantastic. And honestly, this has not been an upgrade switching her out for Danielle Michaud on Rogers Sportsnet. This has not been an upgrade. This has been a downgrade. And Michaud is just like she's like fingers on a chalkboard to me. Just I can't hear her voice. In some ways, she just annoys the shit out of me. And once again, I feel like she's related to somebody important, and that's the only reason why she's in that spot. Seriously, oh no, she's a good broadcaster. She's trying really hard to be a good broadcaster. Well, in some ways, she's just not likable to a degree, and also in some ways, she's not a basketball person. I'm sorry. When you're as short as her, she doesn't know anything about basketball to the sense like Savannah Hamilton does. Savannah Hamilton played and she has real experience on the court and she understands things about basketball that Danielle Michaud will never ever understand. And that's part of the thing that bugs me. It's like I like people that actually did it to be covering it. I played basketball. I know a lot about basketball. Daniel Michaud, I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you were a badass point guard in your college team or something. I don't know about it, but that don't seem likely. That don't seem likely. I was shocked to hear that Michael Grange played basketball a lot, and he is a pretty decent basketball player. But yeah, that in some ways, it matters to me. That's why Alvin Williams doing the game is good. That's why Jack Armstrong doing the game is good because he's a coach and he understands the game. You need people that know the game to be covering it. And sometimes when you have people that just don't look like people that play basketball or have anything to do with basketball, they're the wrong people to be covering the game. But in some ways, she's there to make it more family friendly to average Canadians. I think that's what it is. I think that's what it is right there. Fiercely saying WWE is for what sport? It's the wrestling. It's the fake wrestling. It's the WWE. Yeah, WWF. Yeah. Yeah, it is goofy. Let's see. Trevor's saying 26 Canadians hit the women's March Madness dance. Yeah, that's pretty good. 26 Canadian women in the March Madness and 35 Canadian men in the March Madness for the men's bracket. That's fantastic. That's what I'm saying. The sport of basketball grows in Canada. And the more people showing up in the NBA, the more people showing up in NCAA tournament that are Canadian citizenship. That's good stuff. That's good stuff right there. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Let's see what's going on here. Adam Herky, K1P. Thank you for the subscription. He's saying this. Let's see. All right. Let's see. Don't worry. At least your doesn't really on a guy named Pods, which sounds like puts. Your team, I mean. He's saying, don't worry. At least your team doesn't rely on a guy named Pods, which sounds like puts. You're talking about Podziemski of Golden State or something? I'm not totally sure what your comment means. Either way, thank you for the subscription. And hey, we're not trying to fight any or have any beef or anything with this. Either way, let's continue. Let's see what's going on. Iron Man FC saying, "Hey, bro, I was looking for you at the 905 game against Motor City. We snuck out at one point. Not sure if you were at the game. No, I didn't go to that Motor City game. I thought about going, but at the last minute, I decided not to go. That would have been a good one. That St. Patrick's Day game with the City Edition jerseys that they were wearing, those were fire. And that was a 1-point win. So that was high drama and good stuff. Yeah, sorry I wasn't there, Iron Man. But I do plan to try and go to the 905 for a playoff game. When they get their playoff schedule figured out after the 905 season's over, I'm planning to come to Paramount and go to a playoff game for the 905 this year. I want to check this out. I want to be in that arena for the playoffs, and I want to be center court too. I'm going to sit right next to the court for it too and be a part of it and be loud. But yeah, Iron Man, next time, look for me because I'll be at a playoff game. I'm not going to go to these Wisconsin Herd games that are at the end of the season. There's 2 games against Milwaukee's G League team that are the last 2 home games of the regular season for 905 when they come back from this road trip. But I will try and go to the first playoff home game for the 905 in the playoffs. So yeah, good stuff, man. Adam's saying, whatever happened to the fugging you there, Canada basketball team? What? Wait, what? What are you saying? Whatever happened to the fucking you there Canada basketball team? The other basketball team there? Oh, you mean the Grizzlies, the Vancouver Grizzlies? Is that who you're talking about? They went to Memphis. They moved the team away from Vancouver because the Vancouver there was a couple problems. They weren't getting good attendance totally, and they had a problem with the arena, and they had to switch the arena. And then somebody bought the Grizzlies, and they wanted to move them to Memphis, and they did, and the Vancouver lost their team. Now, what happened though is like I always say this: Vancouver's such a beautiful city, and it's a city full of athletics, but for yourself. It's not really a watching sports kind of city. It's a more like get out on your own, get your bike, go hiking, go swimming, go skiing, go do all the sports yourself kind of city. And the people in that city are more like active and doing sports themselves than watching sports. Now, I know that they love to have their team back, but with Seattle coming back, I don't see it happening. The market share for the NBA in the Pacific Northwest just got ratcheted up if the Seattle Supersonics are returning, and Portland's still there. So I don't know, man. I don't know. Iron Man's saying, "Good morning, brother. Good morning to you, man." Yeah, definitely. If you see me at a game, I mean, I'm recognizable. If you guys see me at a 905 game and you run into me, definitely say what's up and say, "Hey, man, I watch your show, Raptors Freak. Yo, I watch your show." Anybody, I don't even have to know you. If you see me out at a Raptors game, say Raptors Freak. Yo, what's up? And I'll kick it with you for a second and just say hi. And I like meeting people that watch my channel and getting to know who they are. Yeah, we've had some get-togethers from this channel at times. We celebrate Monique's birthday in the summer usually, and go to the NBA restaurant, and we have a real life events where we go and hang out as the Raptor Freak family. So we'll see. We'll see. Yeah. Let's see. Fiercely saying being inducted into Hall of Fame for a fake sport is crazy. I'm gonna give you a dunk for that because I think that you just really tethered us to reality. Some of us are wrestling fans, like to just believe the weirdness of the wrestling world. And well, you tethered us to it. You can get a Danielle Marshall 42, my lady. MJ, you got 42 dunks now for that very, very poignant subject and statement right there. That's right. Fiercely saying, yes, Lex. Apparently, Steve Kerr is overutilizing and overprotecting pods, and he should not deserve that much playing time. I don't know if the criticism is warranted. Don't follow Golden State like that. I know Steph's been out. That's the thing. He's on my fantasy team. So Steph Curry has not been available to me recently, and that sucks because it has hurt my fantasy team. I don't know. The Warriors are in such a weird place. You got to think about it. They're really holding on to the past way too long. And Draymond and Steph are the past. And in some ways, to get fully into the future, these people, this has been in the way. Kaminga's gone now. Wiseman's gone. How many of these young prospects are going to be held up to hang on to going into the future? And maybe that's why they're doting so much on pods, because this is the dude for after Steph. And in some ways, they want to get to the next chapter because they're not good. They're not playing well. And they kind of want to move on. There really is kind of a natural energy right now to push LeBron, Steph, and Draymond away from their teams because it's just like it's over. This is overdone. And you've outstayed your welcome to a degree. I mean, you can't say that to Steph Curry in Golden State, can you? No, you can't. And in some ways, he's probably still very serviceable and still very top notch, that he's helpful to the team. But, you can see where LeBron's getting in the way of the Lakers by their record when he's absent. And, Draymond, similar thing. You're finding Draymond sitting on the bench more often than actually playing these days. So it's weird. The changing of the guard for franchises to shift from old guard to new guard has to be done correctly. And if you don't do it in time, it could be too late and you could screw up your future because you held on to the past too long. This is why I totally advocated for the switching of our team in the first year of Darko and pivoting away from Siakam, Anunoby, Van Vliet, and those guys. Because if we had hung on to them too long, it would have maybe hurt Scotty's growth and going into this new era that we're in now with Scotty as the centerpiece. So, yeah, you can't hold on to the past for too long. The future will dry up, is what happens, man. Is what happens. Very, very interesting. Yeah, Smooth saying it's sports entertainment and the pain is real. This is fair. This is fair. It is fake. It is scripted. It is somewhat determined. But at the same time, these guys do really get hurt. They absolutely are top-notch athletes, and they absolutely should be respected. Let's just say that. Let's just say that. Seeing it from the other side and understanding, wrestling is such a weird thing, man. And it's something that I know a lot about being a wrestling historian. And yeah, it's not that I can disrespect the WWE Hall of Fame, but the whole job and industry and what wrestling is, I respect as a whole immensely. But the Hall of Fame something is a joke. That is definitely a joke. That WWE Hall of Fame. That's right. Most saying no sound. Oh, no sound. I don't know. Maybe something got hit by accident. I don't know. Fiercely can hear me. Let's see. Fiercely saying that smooth. I always thought it was fake, but at times someone would catch real punches or elbows. Yeah, this is true. No, I mean, I could talk about when wrestling becomes real and when it isn't. You know what made wrestling fake was TV. Before TV, wrestling was pretty real everywhere. And it basically consisted of a traveling carnival show. They bring a wrestling ring to your town and they'd have a strongman and they'd challenge anybody in the audience. If you can beat our wrestler, you'll get this prize money. And they'd have people from the crowd literally come in and they'd really wrestle. They'd absolutely wrestle each other. But the wrestler that traveled with the carnival was a hooker, was a wrestler that knew submission holds called a sugar move. And they would get them locked in, the person from the crowd, and they'd always win because they had the expertise to lock in a move that could actually really hurt somebody bad. And then they'd end the match. And quite often, the person from the crowd would never win because the person that was the champion that traveled with the carnival was just really good. Sometimes they get beat though, and somebody would actually get the money. Then when they had television come around, and Gorgeous George was the first huge television star, guys, people don't realize this. One of the first things that was on TV when it was invented was wrestling. And Gorgeous George, the original heel with his flamboyant platinum blonde hair and his effeminate mannerisms and spraying his perfume all over the crowd, they hated him. And he was such a draw. And people got into wrestling immediately because it was on TV and it wasn't radio and they could see it. And what happened was these guys would be draws like Gorgeous George, but they wanted them on TV every week. And when the wrestling was real, they'd actually really get hurt. So you wouldn't have your TV star on TV for a couple of weeks. It hurt the ratings. So they started to say, maybe we should start faking this stuff more than actually doing it because television, we don't want to miss our ratings because our stars are hurt and out. So that's how wrestling actually evolved to become fake, is because television demanded the stars to be on TV and they didn't want them to get hurt overly. Now they still get hurt and they still miss time, but that's the reason right there. Isn't that interesting? It's pretty interesting. And wrestling matches do become real still to this day. And it's basically when one guy hits somebody by accident and they really hurt them and they get mad at them and they'll actually start really fighting in the middle of a match. Sometimes it becomes a shoot. So yeah, this is a little wrestling lesson there. I mean, we get all kinds of stuff on this channel, all kinds of stuff. All right, let's see. Most can hear me now. That's good. She's saying Aaliyah Edwards makes the All-Star 5. Edwards is only 23 and she'll be part of Team Canada's future. That's fantastic. I don't know if she'll be a part of Team Tempo, Toronto Tempo's future, because she may be coveted by, I believe she got traded in the middle of the season last year, right? She was on, I want to say she was on the Mystics, and then she got traded to a different team in the middle of the season because I think she was on my team. I'm not totally sure, but she may be one of these players that gets protected, and she's not available in the expansion draft. We'll have to see. I don't know for sure. Fiercely saying you'll never see blood as opposed to MMA. That's not true. That is not totally true. Blood happens in wrestling the hard way sometimes. They mess up. But there are rules for the wrestlers not to cause blood at this point for censor on TV. But there was obviously there was a huge period of time where wrestling and bleeding was very synonymous. Ric Flair to this day will tell you it's not a good wrestling match unless we're bleeding. And he hated, I actually watched a wrestling match the other day with Flair where I know he wanted to blade, but he couldn't because the producers and the people in charge told him he couldn't. And he used to get fined for this. This is how crazy Ric Flair was. He loves cutting his forehead with a razor blade on the download to bleed all over the place in matches. He loves it. He loves it. And the wrestling promoter said, "You can't do that anymore, Rick. Our sponsors are going to pull our money, and it's too brutal. It's too violent." He said, "Oh, they're pussies. I want to do this anyway." And sometimes they would do it as rebellion to the promoter. He'd go out and blade anyway. And there's been a couple of wrestlers that got in trouble for blading when they were not supposed to. Chris Jericho was one of them too, but Flair did it. And he gets suspended for cutting his own forehead on purpose when they told him not to, because he really felt like the blood was an important part of a wrestling match. That's his mindset. That's Ric Flair, who wrestled from like the late 60s up until like 5 years ago. And that's the way he looks at it. So, blood is a part of wrestling, but it's not anymore because it's kid friendly and it's on TV and people don't want to see that. There's been excessive blood in wrestling at times where it has been absolutely disgusting and gross when something goes wrong because somebody cuts too deep and the blood is coming out way too much from the blade. They cut themselves on purpose. They'll do a thing where they'll be outside the ring and Ric Flair will get rammed into the post of the ring and he'll go, "Oh," and then he'll fall on the ground and he'll pull a little razor blade out of his tape in his wrist. He'll cut his forehead just superficially and he'll get up and he'll be acting like he just busted his head on the post. And he'd be like, he's bleeding. He's bleeding. Sorry, I'm telling all the secrets of wrestling here right now. That's funny. Yeah, Aaliyah in Canada. That's right. We love it. Good Game saying Silas Swords is an upcoming Canadian player. Look out for her in the future. I'd love to see her in a Tempo jersey. That's right. Reggie's saying, even though the wrestlers practice their matches beforehand, these are very big men and women. They get hurt. The Hall of Fame stuff, especially with people from other sports, I agree with that. Yeah. Yeah, it's just stupid. Pete Rose is in the WWE Hall of Fame partly to thumb the nose at the Baseball Hall of Fame for not putting Pete Rose in there. It's like Vince McMahon was like, "Oh, they're going to, who cares if he cheated and gambled on his own team? You're a Hall of Famer in the WWE, Pete Rose." It's like, there's a lot of stupid people that are in the WWE Hall of Fame that don't deserve to be. They really don't. They really, really don't. Yeah. Yeah. Let's see. But yeah, they get hurt all the time. I mean, obviously they get hurt all the time. There's some really serious injuries in wrestling. You can think about Darren Drozdov. You can think about Big E. You can think about Hayabusa over in Japan and what happened to him and his career. Yeah, there's a lot of very serious injuries. And there's a lot of crazy stories in wrestling. We can talk about all the crazy stuff like the murder of Bruiser Brody in Puerto Rico, all the crazy stuff that happened in Crockett Promotions in the 80s with them traveling all around the South with fans and crazy stuff. There's so many crazy stories in wrestling that Lex could tell. Trust me, I know a lot of the insider stuff that's really goofy and weird. Stories about wrestlers in their private lives and all kinds of things. Yeah. Smith saying CM Punk and Seth Rollins have real beef outside the ring. Yeah, they did for a long time, but they've squashed it in more recent years, and they're actually pretty cool with each other right now. And that's why they've worked programs with each other more recently. I think that they brought AJ back because they wanted to do the couples feud with Becky and Seth, and that's the whole reason why AJ Lee came back into wrestling more recently. And that was all because Seth and CM Punk had squashed the axe, and they were cool with each other, and they wanted to do this. But there were many, many years where they had serious problems with each other. But I don't think they do now. I don't think they do now. And I don't really follow wrestling anymore. Iron Man is saying Mankind always had blood matches. Yeah, Cactus Jack, Mick Foley, Dude Love, Mankind. The thing about Mick Foley that's insane is he would try and hurt himself for any match, and it didn't matter if it was on TV or a pay-per-view. He could do it for a house show for 200 people. He'd be risking his life and doing crazy ass, like they called it, the what was it, that flop he does off the ring into the floor onto the concrete Oh my gosh, that is such a dangerous move. And there was some point where Terry Funk came up to Mick Foley and said, "You got to stop doing that, man. You're hurting yourself for no reason. You need to save it for the big show. You're out there ripping up your body in the little house shows. You need to save the big spots for the big shows, Mick, or you're going to die." I mean, the man had his ear literally ripped off in a match in Germany against Vader in the middle of the ropes, and he had his tooth come up through his nose from out inside his mouth, up through the passage, out his nose when the Undertaker threw him through that cage at Hell in the Cell. So yeah, Mick Foley's paid his bumps. And if you talk to him today, he would say, "Man, I screwed myself up." He has all kinds of health problems right now, all kinds of issues. And in some ways, it's worth it. He's an icon. He's a hardcore icon forever. He's one of my favorite wrestlers ever. But at the same time, the price he paid on his body, he's paying for it to this day right now, especially in his older age, man. Yeah, Mankind's a good one, man. We love Mick Foley. Yeah, and he's one of the few guys right now that's very outspoken against the politics of the United States right now, and I commend him for it. In fact, he separated himself from his Legends deal with the WWE because of their proximity to Donald Trump. And he said, "I'm not associated with WWE anymore because Triple H and Linda McMahon and all these other people are so involved with that fuckface pedophile rapist." So I respect Mick for distancing himself and losing money for it and saying, "I don't want your Legends contract anymore because I don't want to be associated with y'all." Seriously. So Randolph's here. Good morning to Randolph Phillips. Game day blessings, beloved Raptors freaks. Family, you are built to endure life's adversities that you are predestined for. Anything beyond that is what overwhelms and breaks your will. Keep that faith. Yeah. Listen, this is fantastic. We are all inherently gifted. We have designs inside ourselves by the creator that gives us a lot of tools to deal with things that we don't even realize. When the shit hits the fan, when there's a lot going on, you find new levels. You know, I've heard stories about children being trapped under cars and parents having superhuman strength to lift the car just to get the car off the child. You know, you can dig deep into extremely amazing resources, ordinary people, when the moment it calls for it. So have faith in yourself, have trust in yourself and your human design to understand that there are inherent capabilities that you have not unearthed and that certain situations will actually reveal them. So yeah, it's pretty cool. Since Randolph's here and I've been doing this lately, I'm going to do this right now. And it's not meant to turn off anybody from the channel. This is a non-denominational channel that does not support any specific religion. But I've been doing prayers on game days. And I'm going to go ahead and do my prayer now since Randolph's here. Blessings to the Phillips family, all the Raptor Freak families. All right, guys. Dear God, thank you once again for this day. We appreciate you for all that you bestow on us and gratitude for the blessings of life as far as having our freedom, our life, our liberty, our food on the table, a roof over our heads, clothes on our back, and people that love us and care about us. Thank you for YouTube and my ability to do the show every day for Raptors fans. Thank you for the Raptors and the organization. Thank you for the tempo. Thank you for basketball in general. I humbly ask you today to protect the Toronto Raptors from injury, protect the Denver Nuggets from injury, protect all the teams in the NBA from injury, and all the athletes around the world competing all around the world. Why not? Let's just say protect all the organisms and life forms around the world from ecocide, genocide, rape, murder, ICE incarceration, all the evils that are going on around the world right now, war, bombings. Please protect everybody as much as you can because we are you and ourselves, the life force that is created. And anything that is destroying the life force that creates you is against you and is antichrist. I appreciate you. I do this humbly as your servant with no ego intended. And I only want to serve you in the way that you deem me to serve you, as far as helping to spread the word, to really believe in the true God above and not God money. Thank you so much for this day once again and the ability for me to watch my beloved Raptors play tonight. And maybe I'll ask a little bit, could you give us a little favor with James Williams and the referee crew? And hopefully we can win this game against the Nuggets tonight. Thank you. God is great. All the glory to God. Amen. Yeah. And I think that that this is good. This is those messages and those statements that I say. I truly do this prayer all the time, and I truly believe in what I just said. That the life force of life is life itself, and God inherently is in life. And if you're destroying life around the world, whether it's wildlife, whether it's trees, you're anti-God. I'm just going to start saying that, especially if you're doing it for God money. That's not the right God. That's the Antichrist right there. Yeah. Yeah, that's what I'm going to say right there. Yeah, 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 yeah. Smooth saying this. Rollins did an in-depth interview, and he explained that he would not forgive CM Punk. They work together because it's best for business. It was a sit-down with Shannon Sharp. Very insightful. Well, once again, I mean, that's what they're saying on the screen. Behind the scenes, I've heard that they're cool. In some ways, it's like, look, that's part of like keeping the feud up. But I think that they are very cool at this point. In fact, I've seen pictures of the four of them as a couples kind of hanging out and laughing and just having a good time in their off time when they're not putting on the show that they're against each other. I think that what's happened is they were really bad adversaries. They did hate each other, but they found that they have way more in common at this point in their life. And they're actually kind of really close friends at this point. So that's what they're telling us, Reggie. That's what they said in that Shannon Sharp interview. But you know how wrestling is with kayfabe. I'm pretty sure that they're really cool with each other because I've even seen they did the whole thing with Becky Lynch versus AJ Lee, but I think that they're actually really tight and cool with each other too. So I don't know. This is what I feel like I've read from what I've seen, but I don't know. I'm not paying attention to wrestling for like 25 years now. I'm just going by the little bits here and there that I see. And it's not a whole lot. So I may be very much not informed. Let's do the Raptors Redditor of the day. Today, our Raptors Redditor of the day is Complete Apricot 591. And they basically have figured out that if the Raptors win 3 more games, we will at least clinch a play-in spot. So yeah, that's pretty good. I like that. And they've got the standings here. And we're in 5th, which is awesome. 39-29. Let's go for that 40th win tonight, Raptors. As I said earlier, it is Leo Routen's birthday, guys. So we're going to wish Leo Routen's happy 66th birthday today. Kid from Kiel, you're a Raptors legend, and you're very important in the Raptors history because you taught the country of Canada basketball. You and a few other broadcasters, I named Jack Armstrong, Chuck Swirsky, Alvin Williams, Kia Nurse, Leo Routens. These are people that have taught the basketball sport to the people of Canada more and more. And Leo Routens, absolutely, since the very beginning, we can say this. You've taught the country that invented basketball. So this is a really important thing, what you've done, Leo, and I appreciate you for it. We love you for it. So yeah, happy birthday, Leo. I hope you have a fantastic day today, and I hope the Raptors win on your birthday too. All right, I guess I'm getting close to the end of my stream. Let me go ahead and see this. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's kayfabe at this point. I think that their hate was so real that they wouldn't even thought about working together because CM hated them so much. And the only way that they were able to work together was to have the axe to bury the hatchet. To bury the hatchet. Yeah, I was basing it off an interview he did a month ago. Sharp is no longer affiliated with ESPN, and Rollins was talking about his life, what brought him to the ring. Okay. Either way, in some ways, I don't care enough about this to know for sure. I'm just going by what I heard. And maybe what I heard was a couple years ago. Who knows? Maybe they've got a beef again. Who knows? Either way, it doesn't matter to me that much, but it's an interesting idea of how they had a feud for a long time. And then I heard they had squashed it, but maybe it's back on again. Maybe you are right. I don't know. All right, y'all. Let's do the classic card. Let's get the classic card out, and we'll do the last couple things we do on the channel, and then we'll get out of here for the day. Yeah, we'll do this one, I guess. Yeah, we'll do this one. This one's a little tough. Okay. All right, let's see. Classic card of the day. Let's see who knows who this card is. All right, this is a tough one. It's more recent. Looks like a Nugget player behind him. So it's kind of cool that he's playing the Nuggets in this game. Let's see. Who is that, guys? Can you tell? You know the jersey he's wearing? Some ways it's kind of difficult to decipher. Wow, Fiercey's good. That is Lonnie Walker. How'd you know that? Lonnie Walker the fourth. Wow, Fiercey. I'm impressed. I'm gonna give you 200 for that because honestly, that was not an easy card, at least to me. But I guess you know Lonnie Walker, and I don't care if you didn't put the fourth, but whatever. Yeah, I'm gonna give you 200 for this. This is really you got it right away, which is impressive. In some ways, if you get it quick, I will give you points, especially if I think it's hard. Because when I pulled the card, I was like, man, this may take a little while. But Fiercey got it right away. Lonnie Walker the fourth, who I believe is now in Europe right now. I don't think he's in the league at this point. I think that he bounced around a little bit between like G League and being around. I think he was on the Celtics right before he got cut, and now he's overseas. I'm pretty sure he's over in Europe. Pretty sure that's where he is right now. All right, let me see. Let me go over. I guess I'll do the wrap up. We'll talk about maybe a little bit about what the Raptors need to do to win the game today, and we'll get done. We'll get out of here, and I'll start working out for the afternoon. All right, so the Raptors are going to be playing Nikola, obviously. And what the thing is with Nikola is that you got to keep the ball out of his hands. And one of the times when we've been successful against Denver is just limiting his touches in general. It's like really shadow him, really cover him up. And I know this is probably what we're going to do tonight because Darko's employed this tactic against Jokic in games since he's been coaching us. And a lot of it'll be really key is like Scotty fronting him. You know, they may try and get the ball to Jokic in the high post or the low post. They need Scotty to be in between there and just make it really hard for them to just even get the ball in his hands. So that's a real key to try and win. Obviously, a key stat for the Raptors these days is rebounds. If we can out rebound the Nuggets, that's always given us the better chance to win. If we can get close to them on 3-point shots made, that's usually a good sign too. You know, part of that is limiting Jamal Murray and those other guys from taking a lot of open threes and making them. And then, you know, when we get our open shots with Battle or Dick or Jacoby or Emmanuel, they've got to nail their threes and make them. So if we can get anywhere close to them with the 3-point shooting, we have a good chance to win. But I also, on the same token, would love the Raptors to pivot more and more away from the reliance on the 3-point shot and start doing more mid-range and up-close stuff because I just don't feel like we're a good enough 3-point shooting team to use that shot so much like we have this season. So, yeah, those are keys right there. Keep the ball out of Nikola's hands as much as you can. The less he touches the ball, the better chance we have to win. That's just a general strategy to use against the Nuggets when you're an opposing team facing them. Don't let Nikola have the ball and be annoying. And if you have the energy and the buy-in of the Raptors team under Coach Darko, you will have more of a better chance of denying Nikola the ball because your team is communicating and playing together as a team, and they are very playing all out, and they're not being lazy about it because you have to have the right effort to do that. That's right. Yeah. You're going to say Sean Respert? Yeah, that's too old. This is a more recent hoops card, and it's a Nets card for him, but he's wearing a Lakers jersey. And, of course, this is from what year? It's 21, 2022 or something like that. I don't know, 22, 23. This is a pretty recent card. But, yeah, those are my keys to the victory to win, to the path to the victory to win. And, yeah, Brandon's kicking ass. Scotty's kicking ass. RJ's kicking ass. Jakob can be somewhat of a stopper for the bigs on the other side. Of course, we're going to see Jonas tonight too. That's always fun to see Big Science, JV. It's always fun to see him. All right, so the injuries once again for tonight. Colin Murray-Boyles is doubtful. He's not totally out, but he's doubtful. And they made it sound like he's not returning tonight. We won't see CMB tonight. I was hoping he would, though. He would have been helpful. Chucky's out too. So we'll see a notorious BI3 Yak barbecue team for starters for tonight. The Nuggets have injuries also. Okay, hang on. I can't talk to you right now. All right, you know what? I will do this just for a sec. Here, hang on. Hello, caller. You're on the Raptor Freak show. How are you today, Chris? Yeah, how are you doing, buddy? I'm actually doing my podcast on YouTube right now. You're live on the air, just so you know. Yeah, what's going on? This is my friend Chris, guys. Pizza Chris. He worked for Pizza for many years, and we went to many games at the Raptors Arena on Pizza tickets. Yeah, so Chris, how are you doing this morning, man?
Okay. I was calling you back. You called last night.
Yeah, I want to talk to you about something, but I'll call you a little bit after I finish my show. But yeah, Chris,
All right.
you're out on assignment right now?
Yeah, I just went to Newmarket.
Oh, you're in my neighborhood. You should come over and hang out. You there, Chris? I don't know. I'll call him back after the show. I don't know. Something's wrong there. Yeah, he's in Newmarket. He's not far from me. Maybe you'll get done for a second, man. That's kind of crazy. Yeah, Chris just called me. Chris went to the NBA Finals game, Golden State versus the Raptors in 2019 with me. Game 1. He's the guy who went to the game with me. Yeah, he's a good guy. All right, that's weird. He called me back a little early. I was expecting him to call me, but not during the show. Yeah, Pizza Chris. Big up the chat. Good to see you, Seymour. Good to see you, Seymour. I can't wait to hear your 4 quarters again, my guy. All right, real quick. Once again, the Nuggets have one injury. It's Peyton Watson. And I believe that he is out for sure. It's a hamstring issue. So, yeah, we'll see the regular Nuggets for the most part, including Aaron Gordon, who has missed games recently. So this is a pretty powerful Nuggets team. But as I said, their record in their last 11 games is 5-6. They're 5-6 in their last 11 games. The referees for the G League game tonight, CP Painter is the crew chief. Lars Murray is the referee, and Erica Parker is the umpire. And the replay center is JT Orr, Jenna Schroeder, and Zach Zarba. And on site in Denver for the Raptors game, James Williams is the crew chief. He favors the Nuggets. Trey Maddox is the referee. He favors the Nuggets. And Musa Dagger is the umpire. He favors the Nuggets. So, yeah, home court advantage and a statistical favoring of the Nuggets and the refs. Yeah, and we're going to play Rip City Remix in Portland with the 905 at 9:30 tonight. So be ready for that game tonight at 9:30 p.m. Raptors 905, Rip City Remix. So we got double duty tonight. That's right. We got lots to watch, man. Yeah. That's crazy. I coach a basketball from Newmarket. Wow, Lex, that's dope. We from the same neighborhood. Yeah, I don't live in Newmarket, but I do live in Central Ontario, somewhat near Newmarket. But I don't want to say exactly where I live because in some ways I'm trying to keep that secretive. But I am closer to Newmarket than I am Toronto. Let's just say that. Seymour saying, I got Raptors by 9 points tonight. Kick ass, RJ. I like that. You want us to win by 9 for number 9? I can get on that. That's right. Big up the chat. All right, y'all. Pizza. And I'll have to call Chris back now. I appreciate everybody for watching me today. Raptor Freak Stream is so fun to do, and I appreciate y'all showing up every day and having the fun with me, man. Yeah, dunk for Seymour. Yeah, we'll do that. Let's give a dunk to Seymour for the RJ comment right there. Let's see. Seymour Pape. Yeah, checking in from Alberta. He's got 33. He's got that Antonio Davis. That's right. All right, y'all. I'm out. Let's go Raptors. Beat the Nuggets. Deny Nikola the ball. Stop their three-point shooting. Let's stop the kid from Kitchener. Yeah, no Christian Brune bullshit either. None of that shit from Christian. That's right. Was this Canadian goods? Since it's the Nuggets, I got Canadian gold nugget potatoes. Product of Ontario. Fingerling potatoes. Make sure you're buying your produce from Canada. If it says product of Ontario or Alberta or wherever, product of Canada, buy that produce. If it says product US or USDA, just bypass it. Don't buy it. So got some good. Yeah, I did the classic card. Lonnie Walker the fourth. That's right. Yeah, you guys are checking me off, making sure. Kaloy's like, make sure you did this, make sure you did that. Yeah, potatoes. You don't want to know the price, do you? These potatoes are $5.55. $5.55 for these. Yeah, that's right. Canada strong. Elbows up. That's right. All right, y'all. See y'all tomorrow for the reaction to both the games tonight. It's going to be a late one. And if you're around the Raptors 905 YouTube chat tonight, I'll be in there watching the game. We can talk a little bit in there. Although I may not be talking much because I'm paying so much attention to both the games. All right. Love you guys. Let's go. 905. Let's go. Raptors!